this is it. Did it screw that up?
Hey, so can I
All right. 2 more minutes. Started in 2 more minutes. All right, let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to the October 9th meeting of Queens Committee Board 2. Hope everyone's had a good month so far. Let's get started with the pledge. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, moving right along, we'll get started with comments from of elected officials, starting with Evelyn Lee from Congresswoman Grace Meng's office.
Hi everyone, I'm Evelyn Lee from Congressman Grace Meng's office. Sorry, under the weather, so if I sound nasal, forgive me. So I have a few updates today. Well, everyone knows, and as a result of Republicans, their weird ambition, and then we are still in government shutdown, but our office is still open. Seems like some people don't know that. They are thinking, everybody has to go. No, we are still working, and we are still trying our best to help you. So if you know anyone who needs help, please ask them to call us. And I brought a few flyers on the front, and that tell what the government shutdown could mean to you, especially your benefits, like your retirement money, your paycheck, your SSA. And then your tax return, things like that. And of course, if you have more questions, always call us. And Congresswomen will keep fighting against their agenda and then try to pass a spending bill that protects the health care for our hardworking families. For the events-wise, we have 2 recycling events coming up. I'll just be quick. One in Lafayette City on October 18th, one in Forest Hills on October 23rd. That's for both the electronics and the textile recycling. Congressional App Challenge on April 30th. So if you have know any talented students, high school, middle school, if they are interested in STEM, they have talented for that, and just encourage them to apply. And I'll just just emphasize again, we are still open. Please come to us, and then I'll just see any questions. Yes, please.
Wait for the mic.
Oh.
The changes to the ACA and to healthcare.
I'm sorry, can you say again?
The Congresswoman, from what I heard, is working to fight some of the negative parts of that bill, the big one. I don't want to
Yes.
call it the other adjective because I don't think it is. But do you have idea of some of the numbers of people, families, seniors, people who will be negatively affected by increases in health, in medical bills, et cetera, and health costs if it goes forward as
Yeah.
projected?
Hopefully not. Well, you can call it a big ugly bill. We're not opposing it here. Honestly, I don't really have a big a total number for you. We do have some idea of say how many people are relying on Medicaid, how many people are relying on other programs. I can't really give you your exact number right now, but I can get back to you on that. Yeah, but it's a big impact in Queens in general and in our district too.
An important statistic that I think everyone needs to know, myself included, is how many people who are not just on Medicaid, but from their private insurance policies will be impacted, because those rates will go up too. Because I think a lot of people don't understand that this will go beyond Medicaid, that the rates will go up for all insurance. Can you verify that? Because I think people need to know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Also, sorry about that. Actually, my brain was kind of frying. I do want to add that we are keep tracking how many federal agencies are stopping responding to us because the furlough. We actually have a lot. So to be honest, we now do have including ICE is a big problem in our district, and then ICE actually stopped responding to us. We got a confirmation, and including IRS, including SSA still kind of working, but they are being a little bit cautious about that. So we do have a lot of federal agencies. So we do have delays in our congressional increase, I'm not gonna lie. And then we do have delays in there, how they're processing your cases. If you have anything pending issues with those federal agencies, definitely still come to us with any problem. We are still navigating how we can work with them during this shutdown, but just like how ever since Trump took the office, we are still navigating everything. Everything is new. So, but just like put the information out there, they are being delayed. So if you have any problems with them, though, definitely file whatever complaint you have, file whatever appeal you have as soon as possible, because they are in backlog anyway. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Evelyn. Tiffany from Congressman Velasquez's office. If you want to settle in, we can let Mercedes go. Are you sure? Okay, sorry. And then Mercedes, you're next.
Came in a little late. I'm probably just going to echo a lot of what Evelyn said, but so yeah, we are on day 9 of the federal shutdown. It stems from a fight over the healthcare funding, basically from the Affordable Care Act, which helps work for coverage. The Democrats are fighting Act, which is premium tax credits that lower health insurance costs. Delayed. Essential federal workers, military, law enforcement, air traffic controllers, TSA, and us, we will continue working, unfortunately, without pay until the shutdown ends. So I am not getting paid right now. So just please note that all federal agencies will be going at a significantly lower pace. So just try to keep that in mind if you're trying to do any new casework applications, X, Y, and Z, all federal agencies will be significantly slower. I do have everything that I just said in this little pamphlet I'll leave at the table. So it's basically what I just said, just pointing everything out on the back too, just so you could have it on hand. And then lastly, something I really want to suggest, the Congressional App Challenge. It is 3 weeks away. It's high school and middle schoolers. If they like to code, if they did any coding projects over the summer, please send this out to your students because it's amazing for college applications. If they're in middle school, that's freaking amazing.
I'm like half kidding, but
Yeah. So we actually got some word, I believe, last week, since we normally meet monthly with all the local elected officials, Julie Wong's office, Senator Gonzalez, GNR's, so more and so forth. The ICE offices are actually moving at a very significant slow pace, so they are closed. But this means that all of their field work is still happening. So us as congressional offices, we can't really advocate for those on the behalf that are being detained because the liaison offices are closed.
so they can arrest people, but then the people are detained for even longer because there's is a slowdown because of the budget
Exactly.
situation. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
A follow-up on that, just for information purposes, because do you know what the percentage of ICE detention facilities are being managed by private contractors, private businesses and enterprises?
That's a great question. I'm going to write that down right now because I do want to find that out for you. Give me 1 minute.
Thank you. And do you have a sense of the impact of the shutdown on the courts, the federal courts?
I do not.
Okay, thank
But I
you.
could find that out. So just to confirm, the percentages of private-owned entities with ICE?
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of the prison facilities are private entities, and so curious to know how many of the ICE facilities are also being paid private contractors, because they're subject to different regulations. They're not being held to the same account, so want to know where the federal dollars are going there.
Gotcha. And can you repeat your last question? I'm so sorry.
The second part of that was the impact on federal courts, because they're going to arrest people, but do they get court time?
Or indict our Attorney General.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Crazy news that just happened literally a few hours ago. I could bring this back to our office to get the actual facts for you, and I could email it along with anyone else that wants this information. I could also email it to the board as well. And again, any other questions, because I know that this is something that's literally ongoing every single day is something new. You have my contact. Please just shoot me an email, even call me, and I'll make sure that I get back to you with the right information. So, okay, thank you. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, folks in DC, for doing this for free 99 right now. Mercedes, please. Yep.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for having me. My name is Mercedes Jennings. I am the Community Liaison for State Senator Michael Gianaris' office. I have quite a few updates. I will try to stay within the 2 minutes, I promise. First and foremost, I just want to say that Senator Gianaris on Tuesday, September 30th, along with Senator Kristen Gonzalez, actually gave a proclamation to our very own Sheila Lewandowski for her amazing work at the Chocolate Factory. So it's good to recognize those who are on the CB2 who do work. So just wanted to mention that. I didn't mean to embarrass you, but I wanted to just throw that out there. In addition to that, one of the pieces of legislation that passed during the budget season of the New York State Senate, some of you probably already received it, but if not, the inflation refund checks started being mailed out last week. You should be receiving it no later than mid-November. There is unfortunately a scam happening with these checks. I just want to let you know. You will not get an email, you will not get a call, you will not get any correspondence whatsoever about it. They already have your tax information. You should be receiving it by mail only. It will not be direct deposited. So if anyone tries to call you, anyone tries to email asking for your personal information, or if you hear people in the community that are saying that that's happening, tell them not to provide any information whatsoever. And if they need to contact our office, definitely send them our information to them, please. In addition to that, another important news, our office has officially moved. We are in a more remote location for people to access us. Our new address is 3718 Northern Boulevard. It is literally a block and a half away from one of the major supermarkets on Northern Boulevard, so you can definitely come and see. Thank you, Food Bazaar, and I should know that, right? I go there a lot. So yes, a block and a half away from Food Bazaar, accessible by many trains and buses, so you could definitely access us if you need our offices and services. In addition to that, unfortunately, quite a few people in the community have contacted our office due to a possible Con Ed scam. People are receiving letters in the mail from different parts of the district basically saying that, thank you for letting us know that you are moving. Okay, sorry, I want to make sure everyone knows this. So thank you for letting us know that you are moving. We have changed your address, and your new service will be starting a new address, and we'll be cutting off your old service. Fortunately, these people did not tell Con Ed that they moved, and for some reason, someone was able to get access to their account and set up a new account somewhere else, and some of them, unfortunately, had to deal with a shutoff, and we had to advocate for them to have their services reinstated. We got 2 people from Maspeth, 1 from Woodside, 1 from Ridgewood, and 1 from Jackson Heights that contacted our office. So just wanted to, in Ridgewood, that's about 5 already that we received. We've been in touch with Con Ed about it. If you're hearing people that are having this issue, or if you yourself are, please feel free to let our office know about that. 2 more quick points, I promise, and then questions, if anything. Also, I want to give a special thank you to the Transportation Committee for CB2. They welcomed me this past Tuesday. Just wanted to give 2 updates. Our office has been kind of tracking the Queens bus redesign. There's been a lot of concerns and issues with some stops that still have been removed. We are keeping track of that. So if there's any issues with that, please let constituents know, as well as yourself, to contact our office. We are tracking that. Also, there have been some complaints from constituents about the Omni card and the way that it has been operating, especially for seniors. For some reason, I believe their card can't be used twice. So let's say you and your spouse want to take the bus, you can't tap it twice, which is definitely a problem. Also, if you think you're getting a transfer, you're still getting charged for that second ride. And many of us in Queens live in a 2-fare zone. So we are working hard with the MTA, and hopefully we can develop some kind of meeting with MTA and Omni. And also, I know that the Transportation Committee is coming up with a plan for that as well. So I just wanted to give those updates that our office has been kind of following up with. Are there any questions? Yes, hi.
Hi, Mercedes.
Hi, how's it going?
It's good to see you again. So we had a big discussion at the Transportation Committee on Tuesday about this. Just to clarify from what you said last month, transfers are still in effect. The Omni is supposed to cover transfers. It's not the fare capping thing, which is a very good program, but free transfers should still be happening.
Right.
I spoke with somebody from the MTA about it after you said that last month. Their response was that Omni does not tell you at the tap that it's a transfer, that you should check your online trip history to see if you did get a free transfer, which is, we discussed, that's not really the nicest, easiest way for people, especially people who aren't online very much, to know that they got a free ride. I acknowledge that you are getting reports that people are getting double charged, and people should not be getting double or triple charged for trips. So I appreciate that. I would ask anybody who's experiencing this, and that to the board and your office.
Yeah, and also that a private company that's versus like the MetroCard being like under the, so there could be like a miscommunication, like what is a transfer is like how the MTA transfers that. So we're hoping that that's resolved, because everybody, I don't know if you're aware, December 31st, the MetroCard is retiring officially. There will be no more MetroCards. And we're still unclear also about whether they will still accept change after December 31st as well. So we don't know it's going to be a full Omni system. So we want to make sure those kinks are taken care of before January 1st.
Yeah, I think as the system comes online, people are going to be very surprised if they're not allowed to use it anymore, if they have to just be constantly tracked everywhere they go.
Agreed. Any other questions? Oh.
User-friendly. I think was a problem this past weekend that they had, the system had shut down so that you could not load or buy a card from the machines. And so basically could have easily been trapped in the borough instead of being able to navigate. I think it's also a problem that even though Omni is a private, you say it's a private company, the fact that the MTA shut down basically MetroCard, like they cut off the 30-day unlimited in advance of December 31st. The fact too that they've also shut down in terms of bulk, getting cards in bulk, which is a problem for nonprofit organizations who give the cards out to their clients. So there, to me, and also, this is another thing that I have a problem with. It's like, even when you use the Omni machine, it's like the default setting, the amounts that they give are not divisible by 290, the cost of a fare. So it's like, I was surprised, I bought a card for $34, and it's like, I should have actually paid $34.80 in order to get that 7-day cap. So I just feel like everything about this just seems MTA trying to get money, but it's not really user-friendly.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate, especially the point that, nonprofits do rely on using, giving out MetroCards to, those they serve, and the fact that Omni doesn't allow that system to continue, and there hasn't been really a discussion about that. So I'm going to definitely, I took notes, so I'm going to make sure that I bring that up as well.
According, like when I did like online checking, they said that there's supposed to be a portal opening up in the last quarter of this year for like bulk Omni purchase or whatever. But the problem is you shut down the bulk MetroCard. You don't have a portal for the Omni. You don't even know once you have it up if it's going to work. So they should have just continued. And so I just find if you're saying that these MetroCards are available until December 31st, it shouldn't be this difficult to get a MetroCard, and they shouldn't have shut down some of these perks that we get with the MetroCards.
Agreed. Definitely.
Since we are airing our grievances on Omni,
Yes.
I'm going to piggyback.
Okay.
And so I have two. So the first one is the students get these flimsy Omni cards, and basically all the students at my kids' school and other students that I've interacted with, all of their cards don't work, or they stopped working by the second week of school. And so the bus drivers and the train people get frustrated because they're hopping the turnstiles, or they're just like walking through. But it's like, what are you supposed to do if the kids can't use, the thing is not working? And so like, and so what I've been doing is purchasing an Omni card so that my kid can use the MetroCard, right? Use the bus, whatever. But not all kids have the ability to do that. So I don't know if you or anyone can suggest Omni to give them like the hard cards, one, and then two, again, the transfers, because they're getting, they get 4 rides, but if they're not getting transfers, then they're utilizing those 4 rides, and if they have games, they have to go home and all of that stuff, they're stuck. So they're gonna have to hop the turnstile and get fined and it's not their fault. So the kids, I will say I've been seeing them a lot, they've been hopping turnstiles, but it's because their cards are not working.
Just so I'm clear, because like I have 3 children and 2 of them take the buses to school, so they get Omni cards as well. Just curious, if their Omni cards stop working, have they been able to reach someone at the school to give them a new one, or they ran out?
Yeah, so there's like a backlog in requesting new cards from them. And it seems to be a citywide problem that,
Right.
And I think it's like similar to like, I don't know if you remember, like back in the day, like if your debit or your cards touched each other, like they would deactivate. And so I have a feeling like it has to do something with that, but also it's like the cards are flimsy, and if you bend it a little, they're sensitive.
Or if it rains very heavy, I like that happened to my daughter. Her MetroCard got so messed up from just the rain in her pocket, she had to get a new one because it just stopped working.
And then my second question is, so I've been hunting down MetroCard machines because I've been refilling my monthly. But do you know if, like, let's say I refill my MetroCard on, like, I happen to find a machine at some point in December, and I have a monthly MetroCard, will it still work after, let's say, January 1st?
I do not believe so. They made it pretty clear that they're retiring it December 31st. I would say be on the air of caution. That's what that would be like my advice. I could ask the MTA just to be sure, like if let's say you get that monthly Metro December 3rd, is it going to be honored until January 3rd? So that's a really good question. I'm going to follow up with them.
And then can you please ask them to give like a monthly option, because it's not affordable. Like I've done the math, And no matter if you're like strategic even about the days that you refill your card or whatever, oh my God. And sometimes the cards go negative. I did not know that. Like if you ever refill an Omni card, it will say like negative $1.90.
And it says inactive, and sometimes you don't know until you get on the bus and it says like, when you tap it, it says not accepted, like card not accepted.
And final appeal, why can't we just cancel Omni and just go back to the MetroCards? That's it.
I will do the best I can. I cannot guarantee that they'll go back to a new system, but at least what we can try to do is make sure that if we have to keep Omni, that the transition is a lot more smoother than it's been. And like I said, it's definitely impacting, especially, seniors, family members who need these cards, especially students. Like I've seen students get turned away on the buses, the trains, and I've seen even seniors or people with disabilities denied access to the bus to get on because they're supposed to have a transfer and the transfer is not working. So, and those complaints have come to our office.
Oh, and I mean, even like them regulate now I've seen them give fines to people getting on the bus in the Bronx on 3rd Avenue. And so I can only imagine if they already have a fare and they can't get on. But even the MTA conductors are being very, very strict in terms of who gets on if they don't have a fare.
Right.
We'll end it there.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Carlos Hernandez from Selena Raga's office.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Carlos Hernandez. I'm the legislative coordinator for Assemblymember Steven Raga. We have a few updates. First, some legislative and budget updates is that we successfully secured $110 million for Mitchell Lama capital improvement funding and $30 million specifically for NYC Mitchell Lamas. We were able to secure universal school meals throughout the state, and we also we also co-sponsored A6955. This would place limitations on lithium-ion battery energy storages in specifically restrictions on residential and commercial areas and stronger community engagement requirements. Next, we have partnered with ACE for cleanings of areas around the district. They happen quarterly, and if you have any specific locations you'd like cleaned, just reach out to our office and we can coordinate that with them. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can repeat that quick. So it's a bill that we're co-sponsoring due to some concerns we've had about lithium-ion battery storages, just because of the dangers associated with those batteries. And so this bill would place more restrictions in residential and commercial areas and require more community engagement before placing those facilities. Yeah, it's 6955, A6955. Next, we have a few events coming up. We have one next Saturday. We're hosting Hispanic Heritage Month at El Mariachi. And we are also hosting next Saturday our 3rd Filipino American History Month celebration. This is in St. James, Elmhurst. I also missed 2 other legislative updates, or 3. First, we have passed a bill that would require the Department of State to submit their universal periodic review to the United Nations Human Rights Council when the federal government steps out, and the federal government indeed stepped out of this review about a month ago. And so that bill number is 9068. And our FOIL bill, which is 3425, has passed on to the governor's desk for her to sign or veto, and we'll update on that. And then finally, barriers. And then last, just quick, our office hosts a monthly 2-hour mobile office session, Elmhurst, Woodside, and Jackson Heights. And last, have moved offices, so we've moved to Woodside in the Big 6 Towers, 6010 Queens Boulevard in the lower level. And that is all. If you have any questions.
Constituent, and this is quick. I just want to thank the assembly member for his, I'll say, interaction with ICE and the immigration situation.
I will pass that along. Thank you.
Just had a request for the cleanup to be towards the end of 69th Street towards Pigeon. It's literally called Pigeon Paradise on Google Map. And General Hart Playground, like that intersection of the street and also like the sidewalks would be great. And thank you for bringing in that service.
Perfect. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I will pass that along to them.
And just to jump on that one, cleanup under all the Long Island Railroad elevated lines, 52nd Street, and on everything in our district. I know it occasionally gets cleaned up, but the pigeons show up daily. I don't know why, and it's pretty gross because it's also the only way for people to cross under the Long Island Railroad. So my trip to our train every day, I have to walk through pigeon droppings. I'm going to try to get into the board budget to put anti-infrastructure rather than a daily cleanup, please.
All right, I'll be over there with my card if you have any questions after.
All right. Next, we have someone from Assemblymember Claire Valdez's office. From here now, please, the 2-minute time limit. Let's try to stick to that. And 3 questions.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Simon. It's my first time addressing here. Thank you so much for having me. So 2 weeks ago, our office co-hosted with Borough President Donovan Richards a celebration of 215 years of Mexican independence at Queensborough Hall. It's of particular significance to our office because the Assembly member is the first elected Mexican-American representative in the history of the state legislature. Might be difficult to believe, but it is true. The Assembly member last week joined a rally held by the Living Wage for All coalition in advocating for a $30 minimum wage and an end to the sub-minimum wage for tipped workers, disabled workers, and incarcerated workers. Turning to Blissville, since we've last met, our offices joined neighbors in a tree planting event and the opening of the first portion of the Blissville Bikeway. Major success, love to see it. And we were also pleased to see the DEC fine Green Asphalt $25,000 for the conditions that their plant is causing. And also we were pleased to see their order requiring Green Asphalt to double the height of their existing smokestack by December 11th. And we have recently signed on to a letter along with other local elected officials calling on the DOT to end their relationship with Green Asphalt if that is not complied with by the date they are supposed to. So that's December 11th. Look out for that. On a lighter note, happy Biketober, everyone. We can look out for Biketober events in Sunnyside and Long Island City. I believe it's the 17th. There will be delivery worker outreach in Sunnyside along Queensborough Boulevard, and then a bike light giveaway at PS 12 on the 14th. And then finally, along with Assemblymember Raga, Claire Valdez was arrested along with 10 other city and state elected representatives at 26 Federal Plaza in protest of that site's use as a makeshift detention center and ICE's refusal to allow elected officials to inspect the premises. And the Assemblymember is deeply committed to using her platform to advocate
privately owned, operated. The ones that take place in the city of New York, state of New York, are they all on private property? And if so, can we look at how they're being taxed, real estate taxes on those properties?
Yes.
Because that's something the state could take a look at.
Absolutely. I do not know the answer to that specifically. I know more generally speaking, our office is a co-sponsor of the MELT Act, of course. We're a sponsor of the Access to Representation Act along these lines. I know that there's been some talk about, off the electricity at 26 Federal Plaza. We are not currently co-signed onto that. I do not have a specific answer about whether or not these facilities are on private property, but that's something I would...
Right, and so are they meeting regulations that are necessary for their use? So their own regulations on physical property use, and is that something to go after? And how are they being taxed? Because if they're private entities, they're making a profit on that. So it's kind of following the money on this.
Yes. I do not have an answer for that. I'm particularly interested in that question as well. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back, Laura Shepard.
Right. Yeah, much shorter. One happy on behalf of the Borough President Donovan Richards Jr. We've got a couple of events coming up in October. Thursday, October 16th, we're hosting our Diwali celebration at Queensborough Hall in Kew Gardens. And on Saturday, October 18th, we're actually partnering with Assemblymember Raga's office for our first ever Filipino American History Month celebration at St. James Episcopal Church, 84 in Broadway in Elmhurst. This is an all-day event, so drop by any time. From 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., we'll be hosting a free breakfast and welcome panel. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., we'll be hosting a mental health workshop. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., we'll be hosting our awards ceremony, acknowledging our Queens-based members of the Filipino community. And finally, from 2 to 5, we'll be hosting cultural performances, merienda, afternoon snacks, and a resource fair. Enjoy the performance, food, and receive information on healthcare, legal services, workers' rights, education, small business support, hate prevention, environmental protection, voting, and more. You may RSVP to either of these events on our website at queensbp.nyc.gov. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can feel free to reach out to our office. You can call 718-286-3000, or you can email me directly at nyc.gov. We look forward to working with you this season, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing many of you at the 61st Street Open Street for When the Moves Trick or Streets event on Friday, October 24th. And good to see you all again. Oh, and with regard to the Omni discussion, I just want to mention that if you have balances on Metro cards before the end of the year, you need to go to a customer service center. We have 3 of them in Queens, flush it and transfer the balance to an Omni card. Otherwise, you will lose that value. So you should get on that. Sure.
Hey, so I'm not quite sure when, but I think it was probably about 4 years ago, but post-COVID, like we couldn't be in person. There were city ballot initiatives, and Borough Hall had an excellent, although probably not very well attended, session that in a nonpartisan way explained what those ballot initiatives were. It was very informative. It helped many people who were confused, and also just kind of took out the special interests and the lobby groups that want you to vote a certain way and don't give you the proper information. Will that happen again? And I have the feeling as I'm saying this that was from the mayor's office and not the borough president's office, but it would be great if it would happen again.
I can check in with my colleagues and let you know. Moment. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I was going to follow up, since you brought it up and no other state electeds are coming up, about the OmniCard thing. This is going to be for our state offices. The fact that there are only 3 places in the borough that people can transfer their money is criminal. And so there should be a big push in the last week of December, and there should be many points of outreach, maybe one in every community board district, for people to transfer the balances of their Metro cards onto Omni cards. It shouldn't just become money for MTA.
Just going to also note, the MTA does have the mobile service vehicles. You have to look online to see where they are, and they do tend to prioritize areas further out that are not subway accessible, to be frank, but it does exist, and it does literally travel
The
around.
last week, it should just be everywhere.
Sure.
You got a mic.
Is there any provision to transfer online?
No.
Well, that's, I mean, wow.
No, nor by mail. You
And-
have to
and-
go to the customer service center.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, when they transferred, I had one from whatever, almost over $100 that they still got of mine. They said they'd be back a year.
Well, you can still swipe through it, you know, you can use it on the buses and trains, but yeah, if you still have 100, we're nearing the end of the year, you should go to Jackson Heights, Flushing, or Jamaica to transfer it. Sure. Yeah. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. James from Comptroller's Office.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm James Mongeluso, the Queensborough Director from the Office of the New York City Comptroller. Have a few updates on some of the latest audits we've done. They're all on our website, and our audits can all be tracked through the audit tracker on our website as well, where you can look at the recommendations we give, and you can see whether or not the city agencies agree with our recommendations and also whether or not they're implementing them, and to what extent up to this point do we feel they've implemented the actual recommendations. One of the 4 audits recently of ACS, Department of Health, Department of Social Services, and Department for the Aging over some of their large contracts. And what we found is that they're not making their main vendors that they're contracted with submit bids. They're not forcing them to submit bids for subcontractors. So a lot of subcontractors are getting paid without any competitive bidding process. Probably not surprising to most of you. There's also about $8.6 million of unauthorized money from those 4 agencies paid out just in the last few fiscal years, maybe 2 or 3. We also just did an audit of the law department, and we see that the law department is causing a lot of delays for companies and nonprofits to get paid when they have large contracts with city agencies. We think that maybe they don't have enough staff, that sometimes they're taking 4 weeks to look at documents. And there's also issues with the mayor's Office of Contracts system, passport system, and online database causing lots of errors. So we're seeing a lot of people not getting paid. I'm getting a lot of calls from nonprofits telling me they're taking out loans because they can't make payroll. If they don't make payroll, that's a violation of state law and can get them in a lot of trouble. But the city is not paying them for the work that they've already done. The contracts have started, they're already providing work and not being paid. Unlike the rest of the city agencies, the Comptroller's Office has a 30-day timeline to either register or not register a contract when it gets to us. The other agencies take as long as they want, and as does the city's law department. We also just did commercial waste zone report. The sanitation is, only allowing certain carters to operate in certain zones of the city. We basically found that they picked 12 of the 18 carters that they authorized for the service throughout the city have pending civil litigation. Many of them have safety records, have labor violation records, environmental violations at state and federal levels. So we're asking that the city makes them give a bond to Department of Sanitation to settle some of this stuff. And just, quickly, we also just did a report on excessive force complaints at the NYPD, so please check that out. One last thing. I just want to say quick, I'm forgetting what it is. I should have spoken faster like I did at CB5 yesterday. If you watch that video, you'll see I was speaking very, very, very quickly. I know some of you were there as well. We recovered like $15 million of unpaid wages through the prevailing wage issues that we enforce. We have a database, please check it. We have millions of, maybe almost $1 million of wages that we haven't been able to give out because we can't find the people. We have their known address. Please check our website, punch the names of your friends and family, and if they worked for a private company that contracted with the city, they may be owed money. Thanks.
Any questions for James in the Comptroller's office? No? No? I think we're good. Thank you, James. The next, Judy. Oh, and Ben. No, please.
Hi, I'm Judy Zangler, Executive Director of Sunnyside Community Services. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sheila. It's funny I'm following James, right, James? Because James, Sunnyside Community Services is a victim of late payment contracts. And it's pervasive. I mean, the not-for-profit sector is complaining. We're owed about $2 million from one city agency. So we have to... Right. It's a real problem. I just have to, this wasn't part of what I was going to talk to you about, but I just have to tell you it's a real problem, and we do have to front the money. If we take out a letter of credit, they do not reimburse us for the interest, which is what he said. So it's being worked on, but it seems like it's a little intractable because it's taken a long time. But moving to a different, along with the events on the 18th, I just want to also mention the Greenpoint Street Festival, which is from 10 to 6. We will have a table there, 42nd Street to 48th Street. And then I want to mention something else. Maybe some of you have come, that we have concerts. Sunnyside Community Services has free concerts with Mark Wade, a local community person, a very talented local community person. This next one is, what'd you say? Oh, yeah. And this next one is November 1st at 2 p.m. And we have a reception afterwards with food and generally wine. And he's presenting classical composer Alicia Liu. And she's going to present her new multi-movement work by a set of original jazz music presented by the Mark Wade, as I mentioned, trio. So please, for those of you who can make it, I know people who have come have really said it's really delightful and it's great. It's free and it's great. There's food and wine. So thank you.
Thank you, Judy. And thank you for finding the projector today. DCP.
Yeah, I have quick updates. Hi, everybody. Katie Crawford from the Department of City Planning. I have two really quick updates for you all. The first is on the industrial plan. When I came last month, we were just about to release the draft plan, so that's been released, and you can see it on our website. Holding town halls in each boroughs on the plan. And so the one in Queens is going to be held on October 23rd at 6 p.m. at CUNY School of Law. All of that information should have been shared out through Debbie last, but I also have a flyer that I will email to go on to you guys as well. We took down the survey for the plan, and it's been replaced with a feedback form. So if you have a chance to review the plan and you have some comments to make, there's a survey on the website as well. I'll make sure that link is included. And then my second update is just on a private application. So later on in tonight's agenda, 6312 Broadway will be presenting, and there will be a CPC hearing that's scheduled for November 19th. If the public wishes to make comments, that would be the time to do so. And those are my only updates. Yes, Sheila?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
That's not the question, but that is a question. I'm curious because looking at, the city council vote soon on the one LIC. See, there were so many of them, I get them even confused. With what's happened in Innovation Queens, even though it's not this district, and what's happened even at the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, and you see, and this happened at Atlantic Yards, these different massive rezonings where there is a shift in ownership on the properties, and then a lot of the givebacks are not forthcoming anymore. What is city planning, what is being put in place to make sure that the communities are not left without getting these things now that it's happening over and over and over again, a lot more?
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think the key difference is that this is a city-initiated plan, whereas the others have been private applicants. So there will be the points of agreement between the community and the city. I think I walked you guys through it back way back in early ULURP, there is a commitments tracker. So everything that's committed on as part of this plan will be listed out in like a map, and you can see like the progress and who's responsible, and it'll have a timeline associated with it. So you can look at that now. You can see how the other neighborhood studies have led to like a similar commitments tracker. So that's live for the other studies.
So the city will meet options regardless of what happens with the private property.
What's agreed on, whenever everything's approved, will be in the commitments tracker, and that will be public and available for everyone to review.
Thank you. Question about the industrial plan. What kind of outreach are you doing to people in the IBC to have them participate in the industrial plan? And how is the rezoning going to intersect with the industrial plan?
So to answer your question on outreach, I'm not a part of the plan personally, so I can get back to you on sort of what's been done. I know I came to you all a few months back with like the survey, so I know the survey has been something that people have been engaging with, but as far as like business owners or things like that, like I'm not personally aware, so I can definitely get back to you. And then your next question was on how the plan will kind of relate with the LIC plan. So the LIC plan, like the zoning we've proposed, like that will be in place kind of regardless of where the industrial plan goes. Like the industrial plan also won't be changing any zoning in the city. So like outcomes of the industrial plan itself are not going to like change what we proposed in one LIC.
So could it change something like allowing for conversion from industrial to residential?
At this point in time, the plan isn't like contemplating any land use changes. I think it's more of like how we want to look at and like analyze these areas. So there's no associated with the industrial plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Katie.
Hello.
So I just have a question because it's not totally clear in my mind, and it may not be to the rest of the board, about the process to date, because I know that, city planning did hold a hearing, and after that hearing, the commission voted with one, there was one dissent, but the plan was voted in by the rest of the commission. At that point, were there was what was voted in, did it involve any changes to the originally proposed zoning actions?
I know that the department made a couple of recommendations on changes that they would like to see in the LIC plan, but the final council vote would be like where like changes are actually like solidified.
So if the council member, for instance, has concerns or wanted to tweak certain aspects of the zoning, that is still possible?
Yes.
Okay, so the city planning vote for the plan doesn't necessarily pin the language down?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
there's still opportunity for things to be adjusted until the vote.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, since we're talking about one LIC, I don't think we noticed during the city planning, during the Hae Kyung's presentation at the city council hearing, the height limit next to Queensbridge now is lower in context with the rest of the area. So I feel like that one just slid under the door.
Is that official?
I will need to check in on that to see where we are, just because I've lost track of some of the details here. So I will definitely get back to you on where we're at with a height limit next to Queensbridge.
I think as far as the two community boards, that's not a detail. That's a
Right.
major.
Yeah, and then so like Katie will let you confirm, and I sincerely hope that this is something confirmable, because if not, then I'm gonna look like I have egg on my face. But if it is true, then like that's good. We should thank folks when they meet us halfway for the things we want. So hopefully that was heard, and hopefully that's a reality and a requirement in the plan.
Yeah, I will definitely follow up with any potential CPC mods that had been made for I'll go through Debbie, make sure it gets to you as well.
Unless somebody else said something else, because I don't want to. Just as a follow-up to what I was asking before, because One LIC is not like the only thing that's ever going to happen in this community, what is city planning putting in place to deal with even individual rezonings and/or variances where the developer does not come through with the promises that are made? Because this happened in this community many times. And so I'd like to know, because city planning is supposed to be about planning.
Yes, I hear you on that, but I'm going to deflect a little bit. So that's actually going to be nailed down in the points of agreement, like what's actually agreed upon. So that's not something I can speak to at this stage. We don't have commitments in place, and I can't speak to any things that have been promised on specific properties or anything like that, because we're not there yet.
Question isn't clear. What are the tools that the city has in place to deal with individual developers who do not meet their obligations, since that does happen and continues to happen?
I will have to follow up with you on that. Thank you.
And I really hope that thinking about the height limits is what was presented at the city council hearing. Next, I think that's everything for our height. Oh, okay, sorry about that. Please.
Hi, everyone. This is also my first time here, so great to meet you all. My name is Karen. I'm the district director for Senator Kristen Gonzalez. I'll try to be brief. Thank you. So earlier this week, the senator hosted a virtual town hall on the federal budget cuts and the impact in New York City. A recording of the webinar will be sent out in her next newsletter, which you can sign up for on her website. And some upcoming events in Queens. On Thursday, November 6th, we'll hosting an Access-a-Ride training with the MTA and Jacob Riis Older Adult Center. We'll have more details up soon for people to RSVP. And then on the evening of November 17th, the senator will be hosting a district-wide town hall. It will be hybrid, so the in-person part will be at the CUNY School of Law in Long Island City, and then it will also be available to attend on Zoom. The town hall will cover the state of the district, so ahead of this event, we're trying to hear from as many constituents as possible about their priorities and the issues that matter most to them. So we're conducting a district-wide survey. If you're interested in filling one out, please come find me after. I have a link to the survey to fill out. So again, the town hall is on November 17th, and we hope to see you there. Any questions? Yes.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Kristen's favorite constituent. So I was on the town hall. It was awesome, and I was very happy that the senator took my question about infrastructure and called infrastructure investment sexy. But actually what I want to ask about, because I think we ran out of time, was that there were a lot of questions about kind of civics-based questions, like what happens if the president does this, and or what if we, like, what if he doesn't follow the Constitution, or what are the rules? And a thought I had was maybe there could be some kind of free civics teach-in kind of thing where there maybe are some constitutional law professors or somebody like who was on the call talking about this stuff that we should have learned in school, but it's not always taught in school. So like, what happens? Like, can the fire the representative? What happens if the Constitution isn't followed? What does the Constitution say? What's covered? That kind of stuff. I thought it might be a good idea because there were questions like that on the town hall. And I know we've had some of those questions here in public comment. So just a thought.
Yeah, definitely.
Announcement, and thank Senator Gonzalez for hosting with Senator Jose Serrano an arts roundtable virtually last week. Just wanted to make that make that announcement to add to your updates as well, so that folks know that this is something that the senator is paying attention to and wanting to bridge the relationship between state government and the arts organizations in her district, which covers 3 boroughs. So we're working on more collaboration and communication in terms of funding and advocacy. So thank you to her.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. We know funding is tough for a lot of organizations in the district, so please feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns, and we're here to see what we can do to help. Thanks so much. Thank you.
And welcome. All right, next is our first guest speaker. I'll please ask you all to limit to 5 questions for each guest speaker, because we do have 2 ULURPs to hear from. Long-term community board member, recently moved to Sunnyside. So thank you for leaving, for leaving the waterfront to join us on this side of the fence. But let's give a warm round of applause to Ben Gutman, the new head of the Queens EDC.
Do you have the back? Yes. Hi, everybody. It's nice to be back. So hello to a lot of, this is the problem. Hello to a lot of old friends and, what? I'll just take it out. There we go. Hello to a lot of old friends, and hello to all the new folks on the board. I was on the board for 8 years. I lived in Long Island City for 10. I've been in Sunnyside the last couple. I left a couple of years ago. So nice to see some new faces and some old faces here. But today, I'm back to share a little bit about my new gig. I am honored to be actually on my 100th day today exactly as the new executive director of the Queens Economic Development Corporation. So one thing I've realized a lot in the last few months has been a lot of people know us vaguely, but they don't really know what we do. Right, and they know the logo, now it's a new logo, but they know the name, but maybe they knew a couple people, but they don't really know what we did. So I just wanted to reintroduce myself, reintroduce our programs and everything that we do for the community and anything else we can be engaged with here. So QEDC, we're one of the 3 remaining borough-based EDCs. Staten Island and the Bronx also have one. It's a really unique, wonderful organization. We're celebrating our 50th year in a couple of years. My predecessor, wonderful person, Seth Borenstein, who a lot of people knew. Seth, he proudly retired on June 30th. I started July 1st. Seth is enjoying his time off, but I still give him a lot of calls. Seth started at QEDC in 1979. So he was a staff member, and he was a board member, and then he became director in 2010. So I have big shoes to fill over there. But the team he left is wonderful. The organization is great. But just as a general level set, our goal is to grow the Queens economy, right? We're in the business of making Queens thrive different ways. So there's kind of 3 major buckets. We do work in business services, neighborhood development, and tourism marketing. If you want to hop forward here. So the question I get the second most beyond, I love you guys, but what do you do? The other question I get is, how are we different than the Chamber? Queens Chamber, wonderful people, good friends of them. I'm probably talking with somebody over there every week. But Chamber is a membership organization. You run a business, and when I ran my business, I was a member. You run a business, you have networking opportunities, some degree of advocacy, some degree of programs. But really, we're a program-based group. You cannot be a member of QEDC. Our constituency is the entire economy. We help people start businesses. We help people grow their businesses. We do tourism work. We do neighborhood work. In many ways, I'll go over a bunch of them here, but the bread and butter of what we do, if you're looking to start a business in Queens, give us a call. We have expert counselors and everything from taxation to marketing, real estate to food licenses that you can talk to for free, get free consultations. And this is all paid for by most of it's paid for by your wonderful tax dollars, some of it's paid for by private sponsors. But business counseling we've done 563 counseling hours last year. We also do business education in a lot of different ways. So we have, I won't get into all the different programs, but there's stuff like Women's Business Center, the Entrepreneurship Assistance Center, the Home Improvement Contractor Training Program. 129 different classes throughout all these different programs, and that touched about 1,100 folks also. So if you're interested in starting a business, we have classes from AI to home improvement licenses, all the different stuff you can do, MWBE license, all that great stuff. So business, the bread and butter of a lot of what we do. The next piece of this, in terms of like, go ahead. Oh, there we go. Okay, okay. Under the business umbrella, we also run a few really interesting programs. Has anybody ever heard of the entrepreneur space? A couple folks. This launched in 2010. It was a similar thing before then. But the entrepreneur space is just outside the district. It's over by Kaufman Astoria. This is a 6,500 square foot commercial kitchen food business incubator that we run. It's 24/7 access. We've had 820 different entrepreneurs come through. They've gone on to Shark Tank and to Whole Foods and to Walmart and to a bunch of other stuff. If you have a food business, or if you're interested in starting a food business, we've have anything from hot sauce to hummus to meal kits to dog treats. We got very expensive equipment that breaks a lot and costs a lot to repair, and over there in terms of big giant industrial ovens and mixers and all this great stuff. It's the biggest pain in my butt in terms of the bills we have to pay for it, but it's a wonderful program in terms of what we can do for entrepreneurs there. We do all of that at about, this is the only thing you can ever pay us for, by the way, is to go there. We do it at about 30 to 40% cheaper than for-profit commercial kitchens. And it comes with counseling and education and all this other stuff that we do. Made in Queens, Made in Queens, we're kind of giving this a hard reboot. You may have seen something about this a number of years ago, but we've had this certification and marketing program for products designed or produced in Queens. We had a very brief retail presence at some point. It, frankly, got a little stale, but we're rebooting it, recertifying everybody, and we are, there's new branding for this and new website. And my dream, if you guys hear about anything in terms of your community board experience, I want to get back to retail, so if you are interested in having a Made in Queens store in CV2, I would love to have it, and I need it for free though. So it's very expensive to run retail. If you have something that is heavily subsidized, this is on my wish list. Finally, on this slide, Queens Tech and Innovation Challenge. If anybody here has a business or business idea that makes an impact on Queens, you can win up to $20,000 through us towards that idea. This is a kind of half-year-long program that's just starting right now and goes through the spring, where we do education and networking and counseling and business plan assistance for usually about 100 to 120 different entrepreneur teams. And the carrot is that we give money to some winners at the end of it. But the real goal is to get people to have all the other, the healthy stuff in there. But these programs are all really unique. The QTIC is enrolling right now if you're interested. Next pillar of what we do, community development. So community development, in here I put neighborhood development and then our reentry program. So neighborhood development, in many ways, across Queens, we act as like a very light bid for different things. So we do things like graffiti removal, we do things like a plaza program. I'll get into some of the details in a second. And then we have a reentry program, which we do in partnership with Witness for Mass Incarceration. That's actually upstairs of our kitchen. And so you can go see, we have $40,000 worth of sewing machines and mannequins and all this other stuff that you can go and you can right now the program is focused on system impacted youth and to teach them tailoring and fashion business. It's a really great program. Roz has been there before too. So let's move on. I'll dive a little bit into neighborhood development. Some stuff here just down the 7 line. The biggest piece of this is what we do in Corona Plaza. Has anyone been to the Corona Plaza market at some point? So this popped up organically during COVID. We were brought in by DOT to help this is the very short version, to make it a little more formalized. When it was first established, the New York Times called it one of the 50 best restaurants in New York City. So it's very good. But Corona Plaza Market is a year-round market. We have 14 vendors. We might be doubling that next year. We'll see what DOT allows us to do. A couple stops closer, we have Diversity Plaza in Jackson Heights. We're running a merchant organizing grant there with SBS. In Astoria, just to our north, we're in year 3 of a Neighborhood 360 grant where we're working to help support all the storefronts along a bunch of different commercial corridors. And then finally, we do partnerships throughout the borough with holiday lighting and open street stuff and whatever kind of we can do on a local level there. One last piece on the neighborhood development is a big piece of like our bread and butter is we do graffiti removal wherever the local council member engages with us to do that. We do that in most of the districts across Queens. Last year we did 129 sites, and that was up from about 80 something that we did the previous year. And so this is always a big hit. Yep. And then finally, the last leg here is I call this like the tourism marketing leg. We run the Queens Tourism Council. If you know, the number of folks in this room have been involved in that at different times. This is going to be getting a little bit more of like a hard reboot at some point in the next year. We have a lot of interesting, exciting stuff going on in Queens. My personal professional background involves a lot of tourism marketing, so I really want to be as much of a cheerleader for the borough as we can. Events, this is a photo from Queens Taste, one of our signature fundraisers we've been doing for years. We do food crawls. We might have, to be announced, we're doing something in Sunnyside Shines, talking about bakeries right in this neighborhood and here in Sunnyside. We'll keep you posted about that. And then finally, we do advocacy in terms of we go around and we champion proposals, policies, and that are beneficial for the Queens economy. So on that note, in terms of just the last piece here, the cheerleading that I like to do about Queens is this is the most exciting place in the world. We all know that. It's the most diverse place in the world. But if we go forward a little bit, we'll see this is like a really exciting moment for Queens. We have rezonings happening on kind of both ends of the borough. We have it here. We have the work in Jamaica. We might have 2 new casinos. We have 2 new airports that have been built. We have 2 new movie studios that are built. We have a new soccer stadium being built. We have more development and rezoning at the Willits Point, the Flushing area, everywhere in between. And that's not to mention, we have the best beaches, we have the best views, and we also, of course, have the best food anywhere in New York. Just as a little piece here, we're going around, I'm trying to be as much of a cheerleader for Queens when we go talk about international economic development and that type of stuff. To give you a sense, thumbnail of where we are, $133 billion economy, which makes us which is bigger than about 130 nations. The equivalent is about Slovakia in terms of where we are. 2.4 million residents, which makes us bigger than 15 states. It's the busiest international airport in the nation. If you add up all the transit here, we have over 107 subway ramps. Stops, 14,000 hotel rooms, which makes us the second largest in New York City behind Manhattan. Also, we have the second largest share of the tourism economy as a whole. 11.9% of Queens employees work directly or indirectly in the tourism industry. We are a tourism economy, and because of the tariffs and because of some of the other stuff going on the federal level, tourism spending is down about 3% from last year, which sucks. And then finally, of course, diversity, 55.4% speak a language other than English at home. I don't have to tell everybody how wonderful Queens is, but in case you wanted some stats to brag about it, here they are. And that is it. Okay. If there's anything we can ever do to help you guys, is individually starting a business with your organization to team up on something. If you want some more manpower to cheer about how great Queens is, please reach out to us. queensny.org is our website. My email is just ben@queensny.org, and that's our phone number for the office. We have an office at Borough Hall. Any questions? Okay. Oh, no, I'm not going to, yeah, you.
Eric.
Okay.
Hi, 2 questions actually. One, I was curious if you could say a little bit more about what, if any, particular resources you provide for nonprofits, given the important role they play in the economy in the borough. And then secondly, could you say a bit more about what networking opportunities you provide for business owners in terms of connecting with their peers in the community?
Absolutely. So nonprofits, we do some degree, I know over the years we've done different types of like nonprofit educational or opportunities, and we do have counseling we do have counselors that have experience working with nonprofits. I do want to get more into working with nonprofits in terms of the work we're doing, and Carisha and I have been talking about something maybe as a big secret plan for something that is directly relevant to that. But yes, I'm very conscious that that's a huge part of our economy. And we're a nonprofit ourselves. We're a 501c3, right? So it's definitely important. And then the second part was networking. So a number of different programs have networking involved in them. Challenge, for instance, we just had the kickoff happy hour. And I'll invite you right now, October 21st, just in a couple weeks at Culture Lab LIC, we have our signature fall event, which is Queens Tech Night, which we usually get like 250 people. It's really great networking. Andy Byford, the Train Daddy, is going to be the keynote speaker, and we usually bring a lot of community groups in for that too. So that's a big piece. But we have, if you sign up for our email list, we have events kind of year-round, and a number of them are networking, a number are education, and would love to see you there.
Danielle?
Hi. So along with the City Services Committee, which means that we approve liquor license, but also cannabis license. And I think it's probably one of the biggest growing areas in this district. I realize it's not the same in every community board district. And usually they're very solid business people, or at least who we approve, because we obviously want the business to do well and be safe. But is there anything that you do to sort of help those business owners? It's a new category, and I'm sure it's bringing in a lot of economic development into the borough and across the city.
As far as I know, I don't think we've ever done like a cannabis-specific event, but I'm certainly open to doing like we do webinars with partners all over the place, and so maybe something with the Office of Cannabis Man would be an interesting.
That would be helpful,
yeah.
since we have a hard
Yeah.
time getting in touch with them. So.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
Up on what we said. We also are finding a good amount of business people who come to us with problems with the city. As a typical example now, we now have the sidewalk seating and the outdoor seating in the street managed by the Department of Traffic instead of by the Consumer Affairs Bureau, causing huge problems, backlogs, regulations. They come in and we had one come in yesterday where the city came in and decided to expand the well around the trees, making their application, in fact, null and void, whether we approve it or not. It won't pass city muster. Is there anything that you could do to help these businesses work with the city?
That's a good question. Let's see. We do some degree of loose advocacy for that. We're not an elected official's office where we send like letters all the time, and we're not a community board where we'll do that. But informally, we try to, when we can, make a connection to help for something. It is something that if we do see, it would just be a relatively new type of activity for us to do. But if we do see this as a recurring problem, it's the kind of thing where we can make some more noise about it, right? We can write an op-ed, we can send some letters, we could testify for different things. It's we don't have any formal regulatory authority or anything, but we can use some sort of influence and soft power to help address some of those things. Yeah.
Hi, I was wondering if what kind of work, if any, do you do with street vendors and things like that? If perhaps you are working or have any kind of partnerships with the Street Vendor Project and initiatives or nonprofits like that?
With Corona Plaza, they were a partner of ours for years as we got them going. Their scope is we still work with them informally, but the scope of us ended for that. In Diversity Plaza, we're talking, there's a couple street vendors that are present there. And we literally, just a couple days ago, we're having meetings with DOT trying to figure out, we might bring them in for some stuff there too. But they're a great partner. The work in Corona Plaza, a lot of it predates me. I was on the board side, but as a staff member, only been a few months, but it was a lot of work with them to get things going there. And I'm excited that, knock on wood, we'll hopefully have a more permanent concession agreement with the city soon. But they've been great, and we refer questions to them all the time. Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah.
Is it me? Oh, thank you. Hi, Ben. So this question is about retail, which, while I appreciate all the statistics and have seen, I think Queens especially and our neighborhood has seen a lot of bounce back since the pandemic, retail is still a very challenging climate, and there's still a lot of retail vacancy, which does tend to drag areas down. And periodically we discuss, and I personally believe that there's a lot of potential use for vacant retail space, for inexpensive art space. And I wonder if you're interested or could see a way to get involved in incentivizing that in a kind of creative way.
That's interesting. We do. So, for instance, the work in Astoria was all retail focused, right? And that program is year 3 of 3 right now for it. But we a couple of years ago we did a whole report with SBS on vacancy levels and everything there. And I do want to do more publication about that and talk about what's going on in terms of statistics, but that's the type of creative solution that if we could be of help with, I would love to be of help in terms of being a matchmaker between artists and or something like that. But I would say, yeah, if there's anything in particular about that, shoot me an email and let's figure it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anatol. Thank you, everybody. Great to see you. And enjoy the next 7 hours of your meeting. Okay, thank you. Bye.
No, well deserved after, the example you set for 2019 folks on the board. And our next presenter, Helen Arteaga from Elmhurst Hospital. Thank you so much. Let's give a warm round of applause to the doctor as well.
Hello, community board. The last time I was here was around, I want to say was it last year? No, it was 2 years ago that I came to give you guys an update on the vaccine and COVID and all that good stuff. So today I'm happy to say COVID numbers are really low, so yay. The flu season is beginning. So please take if you're hesitant about the flu, COVID vaccine, but at least take the flu shot. More people die on the flu than any other disease. So please make sure we take it. So I'm just gonna go over a little bit of the presentation. I'm gonna go really fast, because I know you have a lot of stuff on your agenda. Just go to the next slide and go to the next one. So just to remember who we are, so Elmhurst Hospital, we are your biggest hospital in the borough. We see 1.2 million visits a year. We're a level 1 trauma center. We speak 138 languages. We speak more languages than Google, guys. So we do, which is about 92 to 90 different countries. Yes, because Google can literally translate, but we literally interpret. There's a big difference. So we are actually speaking more languages than Google. Hopefully Google will one day give me a big donation since I'm doing all this work for them. You can go to the next slide. One of the major things I just want to make sure with this new bill that came out, we can go to the next one because we don't have time for that. I wanted to make sure that everyone understood what the beautiful bill was about, or the ugly bill, whatever they're calling it now. But this bill has a huge effect on healthcare. The number one thing that's going to affect us is that because of the cuts, the way it's done, it's going to cost about 34,000 hospital jobs here in New York City, not the nation, right here in our districts. It's estimated to lose about $14.4 billion in revenue. And then in just cuts in New York City is about eight. So that's how much it's gonna affect us. And how it's gonna affect us, you can go to the next slide. And the next one. And no, the one before, sorry. So how is that money broken down? So the biggest cut that's gonna be is for those that are under New York City Cares. Do we know what New York City Cares is? So New York City Cares is a program that New York City has decided to do and fund the uninsurable. So those are individuals who are refugees, who are self-employed, who are kind of stuck in this gap where like they don't make enough money, or they're too poor to get onto Medicaid, or don't qualify for Medicaid. So it's this weird gap that we have here in New York City. So this gives people actually insurance. It's temporary insurance, but it gives them access. So with this beautiful bill, what that happens, 1.5 million people in the state will go bye-bye. They will not have access to New York City Cares. That money will no longer be there. The second thing is in Medicaid cuts. The way the Medicaid cuts are done is that, so as we know, Medicare is funded by the federal government 100%. Medicaid is controlled by the state and is subsidized by the federal government. The federal government in this bill says, if we were sponsoring 50% of your Medicaid expenditures, now we're only gonna cover 30%. So now the state needs to recover about 70%. So with people now, remember those jobs that we lost? Now with people not working and not having access to employer-based insurance, guess what they're gonna get on? Medicaid. So now the state, it has to cover more people enrolled under Medicaid. So now the cost is higher, but we're not getting reimbursed or matched by the federal government. So that's the next big cut. The next big cut is about like $7.5 billion in federal funding. And that's just overall from the state given to New York State. But it affects New York City the most because of course we're most populated here. And then the other one thing is about the hospitals and other providers. It was planned that we were gonna, everything has gone up, everything is increasing, wages, we wanna make sure that we're giving our union members good wages and good benefits. Money, and we get paid by providing a service, but that service, that fee is set by CMS, which is controlled by the federal government. So it was projected that we were gonna get an increase. So let's say the service that I provide to you, sir, right? Let's say it costs $10. I charge Medicaid $11, right, for administrative fees, and that the government says, okay, Helen, you as a hospital, the work that you did for this gentleman is worth $11. But as cost has gone up, and with the whole pandemic, everything costing more money, and now with the tariffs costing more money, it was projected that now my work that I'm doing will be $15. The federal government has said with this beautiful bill that that's no longer happening. So now I'm still have to make sure that what I'm giving this gentleman for healthcare is still costing me $15. However, the federal government is only giving me $11. So I, as a hospital, need to recover the cost of the $4. And that's where we are here today. So if you go next slide. The good news and the bad news, right? You have to recover those $4, right? The good news is going to take the government, the federal government, a little bit of time to catch up. It's not going to hit me all at once, which I have to give it to the federal people who created this policy. They were geniuses, because we're getting hit on this beautiful bill in such a slow pace that before you know it, it's the issue of like, if you get used to drinking water and tea, it's kind of that attitude, right? All of a sudden, okay, now I don't have coffee, but I have tea. Sooner or later, I won't have coffee nor tea the way this bill is done. So right now, I'm not getting hit by losing my $4 that I have to recover. Currently, right now, I only have to make like 50 cents, $1.50, but now my cum is $2. So by the time the bill is in full effect by fiscal year 28, I have to come and recover the full $4. So when you're really looking at like who you're voting for, elections coming up, bills that you're thinking about, this is the timeline that you really need to make sure that this is happening. If there's anything you need to remember, please remember this timeline, because this is when it's really gonna affect us all one by one. And as you know, so you think, what does SNAP have to do with healthcare? It's huge, because right now I'm so busy trying to fight obesity, but now food stamps now were decreased by $10. You're like, okay, Helen, $10 is not that big deal. But when you have a family of 5, that's $50 in your SNAP benefits. Now that mom or that dad or that individual is no longer buying meat, or is not buying milk, or decides not to buy fruits. But unfortunately, nobody said anything. Nobody. So here I am. So what do? Now they buy soda, they buy more of the sugary juices, the cereal that has more sugar in. So now get their physicals here at Elmhurst Hospital, they have hypertension, obesity, and the cost to healthcare keeps going up. Going to be living in it for the next 4 years. So one of the things I just wanted to make sure, we can go to the next slide, is what do we do? One of the things that I need to make sure that everybody understands that this bill is going to make sure that everyone that's on Medicaid, not Medicare, Medicaid, if they are enrolled in Medicaid, please read their mail. Because their enrollment period on this new bill is not once a year anymore, is every 6 months. Do we know, how many people know how long does it take to make a Medicaid application? Do you know how many pages it is? It's 7 pages. And that's not counting all the documentation that you have to give. Every year at Elmhurst Hospital, we lose about 2,000 members just on the 1 year enrollment. Now we're gonna have to do this every 6 months. So now, instead of me losing about 2,000 members a year, I'm gonna lose 4,000. So now these 4,000 individuals are walking around New York City without healthcare. Guess what happens when they get sick? They're gonna come to the emergency room. And again, so now my $15 that I was supposed to pay for preventive care, now I'm charging $300 because now you're using the emergency room. So again, so now you can see how all the costs are coming up and up. So please make sure anyone who's on Medicaid, every 6 months, check your mail, get your certification done. The next big thing is anyone who is a DACA member or knows someone who's in DACA, they no longer will have health plans either, health benefits. The who's eligible for Medicaid is also changing, and this is when we get into the Affordable Care Act. When you look at the premiums and everything that's going on, that also will be affected as well. And again, we're not going to see the effect this year. We're going to see it next fiscal year. Again, it's going to happen little by little. And then the whole thing about cost sharing is going to go up. So currently cost sharing on right now, so if you're on Medicare or Medicaid, it's about the copayment is either $1 or $2. Now the cost sharing is going to get higher. It's going to go anywhere from $5 to $15. And remember, the individuals who are on Medicaid or on Medicare are individuals who already are living on a small check. Do we know how to qualify for Medicaid, how much you have to make weekly? Do you want to guess? No, it's less. It's $150. So can you imagine already? So, minimum wage already gets, if you work at McDonald's, you don't qualify for Medicaid. If you're an individual. If you're a family of 4 or 5, maybe you'll get Medicaid. So again, the cost sharing will get higher. So next slide. So what are we doing as a hospital? I'm working with all my beloved elected officials on that side, everyone from the Congresswoman, both Mang and AOC are elected officials, Raga, Cruz, I'm thinking people on Shaker on my side, are really supporting the work that we're doing here at Elmhurst, but it's not just enough for them. I need all my community board members to be advocating for the hospital because it will affect us all. Next slide. And you can go to the next one. So what do I need all of you to do? First, I need you all to believe that Elmhurst is still a strong hospital, regardless of whatever is going on. We will stay strong. If the pandemic didn't beat us hard enough, this will not beat us either. So the number one thing I just want to make sure that you know is that the hospital is not going to go anywhere. We're going to stay strong. We're going to see everyone that walks through our door, regardless of immigration status and ability to pay. So I want to make sure that you understand that no matter what happens, we'll make sure our door is open. But with that being said, I don't know if there's another one in another slide. Is that my last slide? Yeah. With that being said, how can you support the hospital? Again, talking to your elected officials, supporting us, but more importantly, vote. Please, please, please vote. It is super important. And please vote for someone that's protecting our healthcare and our hospitals. And I'll take any questions.
Sheila.
Can you share approximately what the percent goes to and losses to billing? Because I know a lot of people, even with insurance, with copays, can't even make those bills.
Yeah. So to run Elmhurst Hospital and to provide a paycheck for 6,057 employees that I have in our little village, it costs annually about $1 billion. Just $1 billion. And remember, we're a group of health systems, so the total for H&H, which is our public system here in New York City, I believe we're about like $13 billion in expenditures to take care of New York.
So I'm going to ignore the federal government because I don't think they're going to help for a couple of years. What would you want in the state budget that will start getting negotiated in January through April? What would you ask for? Like, is it a law that they need to pass, like maybe the New York Health Act, or is it funding that would help?
So two things. I think at the state level, if they can commit to giving what we call the charity care bill, like if they can help us with that, that would be huge. Because remember, we see individuals regardless of the ability to pay. So if it costs me $15 to pay for this individual's healthcare, I'm so sorry, I keep picking on you. I'm going to pick on somebody else. But if it costs me per se $15 and I'm missing $4, all that money goes into charity care, right? Where I'm saying like, hey, I'm giving this charity, but the state doesn't make me whole. They say, well, out of those $4, I'm going to give you 50 cents. Well, can you give me $1? Can you give me $2? And I think that's what we need to advocate at the state level. At the city level, we need a mayor that's going to support public hospitals, because we really need the money for infrastructure. Our hospital is very old. We're 192 guys, 192 years old. My poor building, it is like, I'm like, ¿cómo se llama? Bob the Builder, and I have a PhD. So I'm like, I'm not the best Home Depot person. But I need a mayor and a city council that's going to support rebuilding our hospitals, because we are a safety net.
Sorry, on Zoom? Ellie, yeah.
Helen, thank you so much for bringing this to our community board and talking about how this not so beautiful bill affects us at a local level in a really tangible way. I think you gave us some really solid examples. The example of Medicaid enrollment being every 6 months. That's so important for people to know. So thank you. But my comment is actually not about your presentation. It's about the very beginning of your introduction when you glossed over Elmhurst Hospital being the largest in the borough. I want to remind everyone, and it's been 5 years, and I know this crowd definitely knows, Elmhurst Hospital was the epicenter of COVID in New York City. You were flooded with patients, short on hospital beds, short on ventilators, short on PPE, and yet you and your staff in your hospitals served this borough, this city so well. You saved thousands of lives, and for that we owe you a debt of gratitude. So I want to invite everyone back.
You know, the pandemic always makes me like very teary-eyed, because, you know, one thing is when you watched it on the news, and one thing was to be within our walls. You know, I saw so many people give up their lives for a whole year, because it wasn't 6 months for us. It was almost a year and a half for us, where like we didn't see our families. We lived in rooms, basements. You know, there were like weeks I didn't even leave to go home, because we believed in our people. We believed in making sure that the doors of our stayed as wide open as possible. You know, and then when we were part of the recovery with the vaccine, I'm very proud to say that Elmhurst Hospital gave the most vaccines out of every vaccine center in New York City. We gave almost over 1 million vaccines. We're here for the good stuff and the fun stuff too.
Thank you.
Sorry, there was a question there. Eric, yeah, please.
For folks who are able and would like to contribute and support the hospital, how can they do that?
Oh, it's on our website. You can send me a link, or you can always give me a check, Venmo. We do all that. And believe it or not, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. You know, we had a funder, you know, who came in for palliative care, and, you know, her mom was passing, and she was so thankful for the work that we did. She gave me $2,000. And those $2,000, we have a small little wellness center. It's not, I wish it could be this big, but it's actually small. But it's the wellness center that could. And with those $2,000, I was able to get coffee for the staff for 3 months, because we were able to get this coffee machine, like coffee machine with the AI, and like makes cappuccinos, espressos, and we were able to run it and then pay for $2,000 worth of coffee. So we kept a lot of people caffeinated for a few weeks. So little things like that, believe it or not, goes a long way. There was another patient or someone from the community who owned a business and was like, you know, it's Thanksgiving coming. Can I send you 3,000 cookies? I was like, yes, you can. You know, and it's the little things, because it reminds the staff that they are loved outside their walls, because they work so hard. They work so hard. We're 6,000, you know, and it might seem like a lot of people, but we all start like we're really a close-knit family, and you know, just gives a little break, and you know, it feels like, you know, our people have our backs, and that's always important. So we'll take anything.
So 44 of us.
Yeah, bring it on. We love it.
If there's no one else, we'll end it there, because we do have a ELO
And
to
then
get
I
to.
have my cell number and my information is there. So I think he has a presentation. We can send it out. But please remember that timeline, because it's important for everyone to be aware of what's going to be happening in the next few years. All right. Thank you, everybody.
And when my 1-year-old had to get the COVID test, we went to Elmhurst, because that, you know, such deft hands for the nurses. So thank you so much. I think we only have one public comment scheduled. So Fanny Chang, if you're on Zoom, you have 2 minutes.
Okay. Hi. Thanks, Anatol. I just
Hi.
like
2
to
minutes
say
starts
that.
now.
Okay. LIC 1, John James reported 33,800 additional new residents that would be eventually living in LIC. On Friday, 9/3, my entire block received a lot of visitors where they were parking on sidewalks, etc. Since the city planning is in the process with the industrial mix plan, I have asked CB2 and the transportation chair to explore opportunities with meter parking throughout the blocks here so that they can alleviate, the parking on my sidewalk, which was blocked for an hour and a half, and I couldn't leave my office. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much, Fanny. If there's anyone else, I don't see anyone else signing up. Any hands raised on Zoom? No? All right. So we will move on to our Euler presentation. You're on Zoom. Do you have screen share and all that ready?
All good. I'll go like this. Thank you, good evening, and thanks for having us here. My name is Richard Lobel. I'm from the law firm of Sheldon Lobel. It's good to be back at the community board. And joining me from my firm is Fan Baton. We're here today for the 6312 Broadway rezoning. This is a rezoning which would be on Broadway between 63rd and 64th Streets. Fan is loading the presentation. And so now we're just going to run through it. We sat before the Land Use Committee on October 15th. We had a September 15th or so. We had a productive meeting with them. It was a spirited conversation. We did get an approval from the Land Use Committee, as will be presented later. But I just wanted to run through the basic facts of the rezoning. I'm going to go quickly here, given the lateness of the hour, and then we're happy to answer any questions as an applicant team. The project, which is sponsored by Broadwood Realty, Ankit Mehta, who is the applicant, is with us today as well. This is for a zoning change along Broadway. The zoning along Broadway in this area is R5 with a C22 overlay. And that zoning has been in place since 1961, so for over 60 years. And the result of that zoning is what you would get on a 11,000 square foot lot, a one-story taxpayer. It's 7,000 square feet. There's some businesses located there, and that's basically it. So when we approached city planning, the idea was, would we be able to come in with a rezoning that would allow for mixed-use building to create some residential units, including affordability, as well as a ground floor with commercial, and update the property. The truth is that building itself was built in 1931, so this is kind of old, outdated commercial space. This would allow us to update the commercial space, add a little bit of commercial, which is kind of really nicely utilized in that area, and to build residential above. The result here would be a proposed mixed-use building, ground floor, about 9,000 square feet of commercial use, with roughly 46,000 square feet of residential use above. There would be roughly 67 units, and of those, about a third, or 22 units, would be affordable pursuant to MIH. So the actions here would be for rezoning, as well as for an MIH district to be mapped so that affordability would be required. The next slide shows the zoning map, which demonstrates in the circled area the existing R5 C22, which would be rezoned to the R7A C24. You'd note on the map, and it's kind of hard to see, but can take my forward to the east here along Broadway, for about 9 or 10 blocks, there is existing R6 zoning, R7 zoning. All of this allows for densities of up to 5 FAR. The R6 textual district allowing for 4, the R7A allowing for 5.01, which is exactly what we're seeking for the site. The next slide is the tax map, which shows the actual boundaries of the zoning district. You can see Broadway between 63rd and 64th Streets. What's important to note about this is that there's kind of two land use rationales here. There's the R7A along Broadway. Broadway being a wide street, able to handle the residential density here. That's where the R7A is located. The C24 overlay would be on the entirety of this hatched area. There's already C22. The city asked us to update that to a C24, which is the district they now use for most rezonings. So the R7A would be for the first 100 to 125 feet from Broadway, and then beyond that, the C2 would be updated to a C24. The next page is the area map, which really kind of tells the story well in terms of why we think this is appropriate. You're sitting on Broadway, which is an 80-foot wide street, a wide street per zoning. You've got the M and the R lines within a block of the site at 65th Street. This is exactly the kind of rezoning that city planning saying that they want transit-oriented development on an underdeveloped site. The site itself, 7,000 square feet on an 11,000 square foot site. It's not even built to a 1 FAR. So this would basically allow for residential units, affordable units, and some updated commercial proximate to transportation. In addition to which, they're within 4/10 of a mile of the site, 7 train, Long Island Railroad, 3 bus stops. So it's a really well-accessed site. Architect is with us as well, Shiming has designed a building which masses the 9-story building towards the front along Broadway with a smaller 8-story portion and 1-story portion to the rear. And this would allow for, again, ground floor commercial with accessory space in the cellar, and would additionally allow for residential units above, a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. So we avoided any studios at the site. We basically are heavily slated towards 1 bedrooms with an additional third of the units being at 2 bedrooms and even a couple of 3 bedrooms. One of the great things about affordable housing and mandatory inclusionary housing in general is that the proportion of the units that are affordable here are in the same proportion as the size of the units generally. So what does that mean? In this building, because there are because 2/3 of the units are 1 bedrooms and 1/3 of the units are 2 bedrooms or above, the affordable units similarly would be 2/3 at 1 bedrooms and 1/3 at 2 bedroom or above. So it's a nice way to allow for the affordable units to be larger units, allowing some people who may be in difficult circumstances to take advantage of larger unit sizes. And the other thing, of course, is that MIH also asks and requires of the applicant that the units be interspersed throughout the building. This is not a situation where you have 10 or 15 studios on the ground floor that are devoted to affordability. The truth is that pursuant to the law, the 1s and 2s and even 3s would be throughout the building, so you have affordable units interspersed with market rate units to allow for a seamless community within the building. So that's kind of where we sit. Again, I'm trying to keep it brief and such, and defer to the chair and the land use chair, and happy to answer questions should they so choose.
For the full board, land use voted unanimously? Oh, sorry, okay.
Is that, no.
Yeah.
Working? Okay, all right. I just reread our minutes, and it states passed unanimously with one not in favor.
Oh, so it's not unanimous.
So it's not accurate. So it was actually a 10-to-1 vote,
10
I
to
think.
1.
But we did have several stipulations.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to go into that now or wait until.
Let's let the board ask questions, and then we can cover in detail. Steve.
I'm sure land use will probably explain it when they present it, but it almost sounds like you're just rezoning one lot.
Oh, so no, that's not the case. So, Fan, if you just want to go to the tax map for a second. So we're rezoning the frontage along Broadway on this block. So city plan is very careful. They don't want you to engage in spot zoning.
I know.
So the R7A district is for the entirety of that frontage. You can see the kind of the red area.
Yes.
That is on Keith's site. The black line to the left of that, those properties to the north are being also rezoned to R7A. The entirety of the area is changing from a C22 to a C24. So it's actually, on Keith's site is roughly 11,000 square feet. Those additional sites, roughly 7,000 square feet. So it's encompassing the 9 lots that are included in that area.
Okay, but it's only that one block? The block
Correct, yes.
And just curiosity, the blocks on either side, it seems like from that map as an R5 next to it?
Correct. So there's an R5 to the west. They're the Cosmopolitan to just rezone this block frontage. The applicant himself doesn't benefit from the additional properties. He has to pay
No,
application
you're
fees.
paying for their rezoning.
Correct.
We
yes.
understand that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. I have a question about the other units. So you have said 30%, about 22 units, if I remember, will be at option 2, so 80% of AMI. Of the other units, I'm curious about that.
Yes, so the makeup of the other units, as far as unit sizes, would be ones and twos and 2-3 bedrooms. So that would be the makeup. With regards to, and those are just market rate units. So the idea behind MIH and affordability here is that the market rate units basically are subsidizing the affordable units. So the idea is that this is not receiving any city subsidy, it's not receiving HPD funds or anything like that. The market rate units are basically being used to subsidize the affordable units, which have to remain affordable in perpetuity for the life of the building.
Anyone on Zoom? Questions? All right, and I think we just want to hang around for any questions that come up during discussion.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks to everyone for your time.
Okay, so correction, I read the agenda wrong. I thought there were 2 ULURPs, so luckily just 1 ULURP. This is the hearing on our budget proposal, our budget items, capital expense items, but nobody signed up for that. So maybe we'll put it back on the agenda for next month. Sorry? Well, next month we've got to vote, but yeah, just in case anyone has any last minute, sorry? Yeah, exactly. They can talk about it even without it being on a hearing. Exactly. All right, so I think attendance, Dr. Oz. Yes.
Okay. If I mispronounce your name, please correct me. So Amparo Ebelbey. Nellie Afshar. Anatol Ashraf. John Bahia. I believe is absent. Carisha Batan. Nicholas Berkowitz. Danielle Brecker. Present. Carlos, he's present virtually.
I'm here, online.
Are you there?
I'm here online. Can you hear me?
We may have to come back to him. Oh, thank you. Yeah, now I hear you. Okay. Evelyn Chango. Absent. Lisa Charles. Absent. Tanya Chavez. Present. Osman Chowdhury. Absent. Stephen Cooper. Present. Warren Davis is excused. Lisa Deller. Maury Gallinoy is excused. I am here. Alexandra Gonzalez online.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Camille Gray. Kenny Greenberg.
Here online.
Speak up, Kenny.
Online
Okay,
here.
gotcha. Corey Hannigan. Gotcha. Corey Hannigan. Mohammed Hassan is absent. Christine Hunter. James Kim. Absent. Pramit Kumar is excused. Shamang Lama. Absent. Bradford Levin. Sheila Lewandowski. Benjamin Lucas. Patrick Martinez. Eric Narberg. Andy Olivares. Absent. Riley Owens. Jolie Patel.
Present online.
Okay, gotcha. Randy
Present
Plemmel.
online.
Yeah, and by the way, Andy, I'm going to just say thank you very much for putting references in the chat for us. That has always been. Pia Raman. Thank you. Amaya Saab.
Present online.
Thank you. Norberto Saldana. Absent. Alyssa Sawicki.
Present online.
Okay. Fuljan Sherpa. Gelson Sherpa. I saw a PV, but apparently not. No? Yeah, I see his name, saw his name. Well, yeah, we'll come back if you speak up if you're here. Ryan Smith is excused. Lauren Springer. Akello Thomas. We just saw him. Maybe he could, we'll come back to him. Amauris Valdez.
Present online.
Okay.
Sorry, I could not unmute, that's why.
Okay, gotcha. Alana Van Slooten.
Ross, did you hear me?
Wait, who am I?
It's Maurice Valdez.
Maurice. Oh, yeah. No, I gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, but what? Also, okay, good. So much the better. Leticia Vasquez, here, and Michael Zurab, here. Okay, I believe we have a quorum and a little then some. In the building, yes. We have to have 24, and we have, by my count, we were already up to that. So 26, thank you. Okay. I am not going to take a chance. This thing needs to get tightened up, too.
All right, thank you, Dr. Oz. And then next is our approval of the minutes for September 2025. I think, so Amparo made a motion, Nick seconded the motion to approve the minutes for September 2025. Call the question. All in favor of calling the question? Show of hands, all in favor? Any abstentions? Any opposed? All right, we have called to, we've approved the minutes. I'm going to be pretty quick, just two things. One was the One LIC, the city council hearing on One LIC. Thank you, CB2, for showing up. That was, I think you had double-digit members make testimony, so I think we were heard, and just got to keep pushing until the bitter end. I just have an amendment I'd like to make to the hybrid meeting policy. It has to do with Zoom. I would like to, it should help a lot of things, but ultimately I want, you know what, I'll just make the motion. I want a motion to amend the hybrid meeting policy to require the Zoom login for CB2 to be shared among the executive committee and committee chairs as it relates to committee and board meetings. Any seconds? But this is a hybrid meeting policy. So, no. It's a policy, it's a board policy. The hybrid meeting policy is not in the policy. Yeah. So. Yeah. And I think we ratified early 2024. I think that was like one of my sessions. Mike?
Can you send the proposal to us so we can go over it? I mean, I really don't.
Yeah, very simple. Just I want the Zoom login to be shared by executive committee and committee members.
But what does it mean? Like, I kind of want to get more information. What's the
coverage doing meetings, so meetings can start on time, and there's extra Zoom bombing protections, etc. Yep. Oh, okay. Okay, discussion.
So there's a purpose.
Yep.
Right? And what precipitated the purpose? Is there a problem?
Yeah,
Can you describe what that is? Because, I get into, I participate on Zoom sometimes, and I don't know what the problem is.
There have been instances where meetings haven't started on time. It's.
Meetings always start on time because the recordings start automatically.
On mics, everybody?
I would like
Yeah.
to respond as well. I think I'm entitled, right?
But you don't have a microphone, that's what you said.
I'd like to just clarify, that's all. I'm not responding, I'm just clarifying a question was asked by a former chair that understands practices and policies. So I just want to clarify, all the Zooms start at the time that they say. If I'm not on there immediately, there's no co-host privilege in case there's somebody that wants to give a presentation until I get on and give co-host or a host privilege. So I'm clarifying it because Anatole and I just had a discussion, so I'm trying to clarify here. And he would like to be able to have passwords given out, which are, our Zoom is a city Zoom. It is not supported by Zoom, but as all of you know from COVID, we went through WebEx, we went through Microsoft, and we went through Zoom, and the board voted to have Zoom. The city, for the record, does not support Zoom. However, they allow you to use it and purchase it and buy it. The board purchases it. Our budget purchases Zoom for the privilege of being able to use it. We also pay for tonight for Hirsch Studios to help us out. So, and as he does many other boards. So what Anatole is discussing tonight is the ability to give out passwords and to give out privilege so that someone else can start the Zoom. We can create a co-host and the Zoom can start automatically with another host if the board office wasn't on there. We can rectify this as well and have another staffer be a backup as well. So I'm just putting it out there as a legitimate conversation of what the rules as I understand them as a city requires.
Yeah, and this is also so, one of the selected few who have the password can jump on, give, co-host privileges to a guest who, joins at exactly 6 o'clock and they have a presentation ready, but they can't, there's protections and things like that for that. Yes, Danielle.
So for other organizations, I am both an account owner and an admin on Zoom, which means I have the password. It also means that I have access to anybody who joins that Zoom's data, and I can edit the videos to be whatever I want them to be. I can edit the chat. I basically have total control. Like, I don't, I'll be honest, I don't trust Zoom at all. I've been told by the corporation I work for and be getting off of Zoom, but I tend to trust the city of New York with information about myself and my fellow board members. And I would maybe trust the executive committee, who could, if they wanted to, go in and edit a video, go in and change like how the vote went on that recording. And that concerns me. And also, as a chair of a committee, I don't want that responsibility. I already have like 5 Zoom accounts that I'm responsible for. So I think it's a privacy issue, and I don't agree.
Steve.
Well, luckily, Danielle knows how to work this, because I don't. So she can, you could be in charge of it, our committee. My problem is a little bit different. Again, I'm somewhat of a dinosaur, but we always had a member of the staff at our meetings, and it's what made our meetings official that they were responsible for the minutes. I did not take minutes of my committee and then have them published. It had to be the staff members. So the reason that the staff members are required to be at our committee meetings is to make it official and to take care of these type of items like the minutes and to make sure they're accurate and so forth. I think that extends to the video too. Now, if we're going to say that they don't have to be at the meetings, and that the committee chair is now responsible for doing the minutes, and they could go home and take off, I don't think that's what you want, though.
It doesn't have to do with the minutes, it's just making sure that people.
Zoom is the minutes at this point.
Right.
We now have a recorded session.
Transcript and everything.
Right, I mean, we don't have to argue about whether the minutes are correct, because we can actually look at the videotape.
Right.
As they say.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know whether it's a good idea to take it away from the staff.
I'm not saying anything about the minutes, it's just Zoom access.
Just voice, again, I'm not a Zoom expert, I'm just saying that it was always the official capacity of the board, and what made it official was the fact that we had a member of the City of New York, staff member, there to monitor our activities and to make sure equal and fair reporting went out.
And when it's recorded, the proof is in the pudding, it's on the tape, right? Carisha? No, Danielle, you're wrong about how that works.
So I agree with Steve, and I mean, I personally think someone from the office should be in the meeting to be when the meeting starts. But I think because I was in the health committee meeting last month, and the issue is always, and we always have guest speakers, but we have to wait for someone to come in and give co-hosts access to the co-chairs so that they are able to present. Now, I use Zoom a lot, and what I would suggest, if this is something that not everyone's on board with, is Zoom has the capability of making someone the Zoom host. So that would require someone with who is not intimidated by Zoom to be able to invite them and add them as hosts on the Zoom, because if that was the case, then everyone would have access to. I also was wondering if the Zooms are set up to be have no end deadline or date and time, and they're just open meetings, and the meetings are recurring, because that would also alleviate the issues with because I also took notes because I have issues with the Zooms, but this is, since you brought this to the table, that I think it's not a bad idea, but if this is not something that everyone's in favor of, I think giving them a host access pre-Zoom meeting, because you can do that, you can add their emails, and
You have to pay for it, that's additional.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a higher level, we also don't have webinars on our account, so that's all extra.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Appreciate.
So I hear what everybody's saying, and I'm trying to like rack my brain for when the hiccups happen in our committee. I think what ends up happening, I'm not sure what this is when we do get transferred co-host, and then let's say like, you know, we check in with the office and they help us give access to whoever are. But then there might be a scenario where one of our speakers are late. Somebody wants to say or share something and we have the time to do it, but no one from the office is no longer there. So then when I try to share access, it says it wants me to put in some sort of key, which is different from a login. But I don't know what that is. So then we end up having to like find a roundabout way, but often that we just can't coordinate it fast enough. So yeah, I don't know what the solution is because I don't know what that key means, but I'm just offering like a scenario in which maybe this is why we're talking about it now.
The solution is sharing the login, making sure that, you know, like let's say meeting starts and, you know, the host drops off and somehow you can't, you know, share, you can't give the presenter screen share, you know, so you log back in with the QNO2 login and then you're able to do it. Yep. Brad.
I have a basic question, and probably others understood this, but I don't. But how is the situation now is we're supposed to, if we're going to attend on Zoom, I can't remember exactly who we notify. I think it's you, Anatole, and
the office or me.
The office.
Yeah.
And how does it be different, both for the board meeting and the committee meeting with this change? Like if we find that we need to attend via Zoom because we can't be in person.
This shouldn't affect anything for committee members. Okay. So it's just another. So executive committee and committee chairs would just be another level of protection to make sure that, you know, presenters are able to screen share, and you know, there's additional hands for, like, you know, turning off drawing so no one can draw offensive things on the screen, or, you know, monitoring the chat, things like that.
I have something to say.
Yep.
So just for clarification, so you asked for the executive committee to have access to the Zoom. This is Amaury Valdez.
Oh yeah, Amaris, if you can turn your camera on as a board member, but that was Amaris Valdez.
So then I guess he's here.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, so just for clarification, you asked for the executive committee to have access to the Zoom login, correct?
People on Zoom can see him. We are locked for this view. There he is. The public can see him, who matter. Yeah, Amaris, I'm asking for the executive committee and the committee chairs to share the Zoom login.
Okay, so I just wanted to state that I don't see a problem for us to have redundancy. I think having redundancy is a great idea.
Okay. To my point earlier that I'm not comfortable right now is I feel like there are some legal issues that need to be looked in here too. I mean, that's like giving the keys to the office, basically, in a way. Like
Other boards share their Zoom.
Okay, I'm sorry?
Other boards share their
believe
Zoom.
you. I just want to
other boards
know more, like, Debbie, can I please, like, I just want to know, what does it mean in terms of, like, Danielle brought up privacy issues, the documentation, like, it is still the keys, it is still the official meeting. Like, it's like coming in here, I'll pass the mic after I'm done. Like, when we have the meeting here, we can be in the space, but the meeting no longer happens when the staff are done. And so we're not paid, we're volunteers. And so what's our accountability? So these are questions I have that I don't necessarily, this is not about you personally, trust that you can answer for me. I would like to know what the city's, the lawyers have to say about this. I know other community boards do it. If they say there's not a problem with the legality, and maybe here's the process for the accountability for anyone who gets that, I really want to hear that. So I'm making a motion to table this until we can get that information.
Call to question. All in favor of calling the question? Since there's a motion at table, the motion at table supersedes any other motion. It's been seconded, right? It's been seconded. And now we have to vote on whether we want to table or not. Yep. I guess you can, yeah, is there no discussion about the motion on the table? All right, so we either vote to table or not, so. Yeah, okay, all right. It could be a show of hands, not a ULURP. In favor of tabling? All in favor of not tabling? Okay, I think the motion to table passed. All right. And next time one of your meetings start late.
We will figure out a process.
I mean, yeah, like there's no open meetings jail. There's nothing, you know. Mayor Lindsay Wagner didn't write anything about Zoom back in the 60s. But,
There are FOIA issues, there are all kinds of things. If me as an individual now, I have the key, now is that my personal email address that has the key or my personal stuff? So now there are FOIA issues on my personal documentation. So this is part of what I'm saying, there are legal issues involved.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we will table and we will move on.
Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to make a separate motion, and basically the motion is that we address some of these issues, including the Zoom bombing issue and managing that and ways to prevent it. And ways to make sure, human beings are fallible. So if Debbie hasn't rejoined the meeting because she had a flat tire and she was on her way home and didn't quite get home or there was traffic, come on, we've got to have some solution. All I'm saying is I want us to recognize that there is a problem and it's a larger problem that we should address.
Yeah. No, yeah, but the other thing I wanted to do with this was to, ratify it as a board so it outlives me. Yeah, like there should be a board policy to do this and not my policy. All right, treasurer's report.
Okay, hello, good evening. Nice to have this time with you. A couple of things I wanted to give you all updates about. So first of all, thank you so much to all the committee chairs who sent requests to the committee to inform our statement of needs submission and who also helped contribute to the narrative. I would say we're like 80% done on both of those, and hopefully by next Thursday, which will hopefully be our final committee meeting, we'll be more like 95, 98% done, but grateful for all of your help on that. I was really fortunate to have time with folks from city planning Tuesday morning, I believe. So Nicholas Stamper from city planning and Katie from city planning hopefully got us some time together and had a really helpful conversation. One about sort of the process. One thing I wanted to update you all about, because it was news to me, I learned from that meeting, is that an element of the way we submit budget requests has changed in that we're no longer asked to submit a single stack-ranked prioritization list for all capital requests and all expense requests. So previously we've had to submit like 1 to 30 for capital expense, 1 to 30 or what have you for expense budget requests. Instead now we prioritize within agencies. So if we have 4 requests to the Department of City Planning, we stack rank those 1, 2, 3, 4, but we don't have to stack rank our request to city planning relative to our request to DEP. We don't have to prioritize between agencies. We just prioritize within agencies. I don't think that will affect anything from you all. I think I can still, based on the scorecard process where I'm that I've kind of outlined a few times in different forums where we assign scores to different requests, still use that to do the rankings within requests, so no change of process required from you all, but it's going to look a little different when we, when we submit. But I actually think this will make things a little easier, which is, I think, was the intent of that change. So that's one thing I learned that I wanted to share with you all. I see you looked like Christine. You really looked like you wanted to ask questions, so maybe we can tackle that while we're on topic.
But we're still, so for a given agency, we're still doing both expense and
Correct.
and
Correct.
capital.
Correct. So within capital requests, within agency, we submit a prioritized list. Within expense budget, within agency, we submit a prioritized list, but we no longer have to submit prioritized, like a priority score between agencies within the capital expense and between agencies within the expense budget request.
Isn't that going to end up with a lot more priorities?
I mean, we have the same number of
For every
requests.
agency, you'd have a first priority.
Yeah, that's right. But that's fine, because what DCP explained is that the other agencies, like Department of Transportation, doesn't even see our HPD budget requests, for example. We only, the way this goes through DCP and OMB to agencies is that agencies only see the requests we submit to those agencies. So it actually doesn't particularly matter if they see it 17 and this other one is 23, right? Like, so in some, that's how it will go.
So. The city changed the process, city planning. So it's now prioritized by agency. So you can have 10 parks, you can have 3 DEP, you could have 20 DEP. That's up to you guys. And once you vote, we will enter all the data as we always did.
So I have a question about, sometimes there were like hybrid, like there are requests that were relevant to multiple agencies. How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, I think in tooling, they have to go to a specific agency. I mean, we could submit the same request to multiple agencies, but the form is structured where we're force-picked to choose an agency.
Yeah, I'm inherently suspicious of city and really wonder why they're doing this. I mean, I can think of times when we've had our number one priority being the same thing year after year after year, and we did that to make them understand how important that idea was. It seems like we can no longer do it, that this is kind of diluting things, because it might be a number one with buildings, but number one with transportation was something else, and number one with sanitation was something else, and somehow it seems to lose the strength of our feeling.
Yeah, all I can really share is what was shared with me, and then, I can provide my own commentary for whatever it's worth, but what was shared with me from Nicholas is that he had gotten feedback. Nicholas is the person on DCP who is outlining this with me. Is that he had gotten, or the team, or I'm not sure what pronoun to use exactly, he had gotten feedback from a lot of community boards that they were spending a lot of time debating the prioritization list, and that this was like a major source of contention for them, their volunteers, blah, 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 taking a lot of time on this. And so they sort of, like, there was feedback that they wanted this change from other boards. And then the other thing he shared is, and while you might have viewed it differently, in practice, the way these requests were flowing to cities, that level of prioritization was not being observed, right? Like, it's not the case that the departments were appreciating that this was number one in the list. So maybe that's what we thought we were doing. But in practice, right, they only see the request they get. They don't kind of get the broader context. So maybe in some sense, it's helpful for us to know that that's how this is working.
And they added more categories, MTA, transit, so you can.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm just trying to help Michael out. And they added more categories. So remember, like, we had stuff under the MTA that some is MTA, some is transit. You can do both, if I'm not mistaken, right? And we have more categories on that list than we did before. And actually, there's a technology category that you can make a request for some funding for technology. So I think that's a real positive thing, as we were talking about.
Yeah, so I guess on that, I do think, there is already a request, I think, from the inclusion committee, but there is a request around funding for Zoom for a higher tier of Zoom, which would, it came up in the previous conversation, unlock some of the features that would be helpful for things like Zoom bombing, so webinars where we can kind of limit access to who can unmute themselves to folks who are invited as speakers, and also the sort of pre-scheduling that Leticia had mentioned, where you can like nominate a person to default to be the co-host if the host is not present. So that would be really helpful. And I do think we should include that in our request. I also think, the board currently pays for one tier of Zoom, and I think we should try to see if there's a way. I mean, I'm sure we're constrained, but if investigate how much it would cost us using the board's operational budget that we get from the city, since this is like sufficiently important of an issue that we're spending live time talking about our Zoom membership, maybe we should look at like the way our operational budget as a board is allocated and see if we can actually make progress on this. So I'm excited to kind of dig in there. Yeah, that's really the main update. The final, God willing, final budget committee meeting is next Thursday, and I'm hoping by then we'll have all the requests in a prioritized list, and I'll be able to send it to you all like at least 24 hours before the meeting, and then we just sort of review it together and feel good about it, and then come to the board in November and vote and be done with this. So thanks for all of your help, and looking forward to kind of getting through the last mile. Are there any other questions?
You. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Take care. Good night.
Debbie?
Thank you for the constructive questions, and I understand that some of this post to give you somebody privileges. So we'll work that, and if I can't do it, maybe Mary Ann or we have Raphael, who's been doing a good job, by the way, and I've gotten great feedback from a lot of you who've called the office, and he answers. He's quite polite and very, very good. So we're very happy. So maybe we can work something out that way. And this way, there's a staff and it's secure. But we are going to get some answers. Okay. We've attended borough consultation meetings to get some updates and feedback. And borough consultations is borough-wide, so you can't do specifics. But I'm hoping to give a little bit of feedback to Michael so that he'll be able to update some of his information as well. So next month, I just want to note again, we're going to vote on the capital and expense. So that will take some time. Roz and I attended the state controller's State of the District, and that was a positive event that we went to. Controller DiNapoli gave a snapshot of Sunnyside and Woodside, Long Island City. So we have a copy of that in the office. I think she sent it just recently, the PDF, so we'll make sure that we send it around so you guys have that. FDNY is having an open house Saturday, October 18th, Sunday the 19th, for over 200 firehouses and EMS locations. Their doors are going to open to the public from 11 a.m. to 1 and from 1 to 3. We posted it on our website and sent it to everybody, so just be aware of that. Queensborough Hall is hosting a land use and zoning training on October 28th at 6:30. We sent that around and posted that, so if anybody's interested. And we had approximately, this month, 46 original complaints, and our top complaints is sanitation, PD, our illegal parking, which is really, really a hardship in this district, and we've noted it at my cabinet meeting, and I will again. And if you have and you see where they are really being abusive, if you called it into 311, send it to us as well. Make sure so I can get it on the captain's agenda so he knows all of the hot spots. Riley is going to create a list. I think he mentioned that as well at the meeting. So I look forward to making sure that it gets on the captain's agenda during my cabinet meeting. And I want to wish everybody a Happy People Day, Columbus Day, and we are closed Monday, and wishing everybody a safe, happy Halloween. And I thank my staff. They work very hard. We've all worked very hard together, and we're not perfect. None of us. That's why there's a racism pen. But we do work very hard, and we try to deliver for all of you. And we try to resolve problems together. And that's what it's about. It's not the board versus the office or the office versus the board. We work together. You want something, we try to make it happen. And we do it together. And lately, it doesn't seem that way. And it's sad. And no matter how hard we work, we did, and I mentioned, we did get our office contract by DCAS renewed. It took over 4 years due to COVID. It wasn't us. We don't get to negotiate, pick office space. They tried to find us office space in between. They said it was very expensive. And we tried to get ground floor, as was suggested by some members. And they said it's very expensive, and they weren't looking to move us. They were looking to renegotiate. They did. We are working on signage for the outside. It is old, it is faded. It's going to take time. We need a city agency sign company that is a vendor for the city. Once they give us a list, we're going through the list to try to get quotes to see what we can find. Once we do that, we will look at the budget and we will purchase something. So we're working hard to accommodate all of the requests. So I thank you all. It's always been an honor and a privilege to serve this community, and I look forward to continuing to do that. It's
Yeah, I'm not quite about that signage. Will it be visible at street level for pedestrians that walk by to figure out which door they should go to get and welcome them to, I mean, it's a matter of just putting something on the inside of the glass that says CB2 office, enter here. Doesn't if you're walking by on the sidewalk at present, and I think that's important.
I think that request is noted. Thank you, Roz. All right, next is land use. Just one more thing. Next, at the November meeting, are nominations for the executive committee for the next year. So you can try to get Zoom going. Okay. All right, please. If you'd like, yeah.
All right, the light's on, everybody can hear me.
Do we want the applicant to come up, or?
Well, I can just report on the.
Land use? Okay.
Yeah, on the land uses. So the land
Yeah,
use
okay.
committee's recommendations included, or as stated before, the land approve the application with following conditions. One was the inclusion of MIH options 1, 2, and 3 to allow deeper affordable options in the future. And I'm assuming, and Richard, maybe you can, when you build the building, when you file the building with HPD, you state an option at that time. But this would allow for more options on the other lots in the area, and there are quite a few other lots in the area, in the district to be rezoned. So I think that's our recommendation.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
It would provide maximum flexibility for the lots along Broadway, so sure.
Right, okay.
Oh, understood. Once if the recommendation is made, then the council member is able to make that correction or change at the council.
Okay. The second is use of union labor. The third is addition of street greenery through street planters and have them reflected. The site plan was generic or didn't provide a lot of information, and so there were questions about where would there be street trees and where would there not. And we know that the subway runs down Broadway, I think, but we don't really know for sure how the extent of the tunnel and whether you could. So we'd like clarification on street trees and maximization of street trees wherever possible. And if the street trees can't be planted all the way through, to have planters at least, because it's a fairly bare area. That was 3. 4 was an increase in the proportion of 2 and 3 bedroom units. And the committee felt that even if that meant there were a few studios, in other words, if you have a studio rather than a 1-bedroom, that then allows you to then take a 1-bedroom, turn it into a 2-bedroom. So and there's definitely a preference for more family-sized units. And the last was designation of an appropriately sized loading area accessible to the trash and receptacle area. So conditions.
I make the motion that we adopt the land use recommendation with one slight amendment, and that is instead of union labor, that we use the word prevailing wage labor, because I don't believe the city is allowed to limit it to just unions. I think they must, as a matter of law, allow non-union people to work, but they can force the salary to be the same. So it's called prevailing wage. Is that acceptable to you as land use? Okay, so that is my motion. I don't have a second, but that's my motion.
Any discussion? Should we, all in favor of calling the question? All right, it's a ULURP, so roll call. Dr. Roz? Or, there you go. Are we doing it here or?
Yes, so roll call, Amparo Abelbay? Yes. Nellie Afshar? Yes. Anatol Ashraf? Yes. John Bahia is not here. Carisha, what? Oh, did he come? He can. Because he wasn't on the attendance. Okay, so then John Bahia, I guess you can weigh in, please, on this motion. Yeah, I don't see him. All right, Carisha? Yes. Nicholas Berkowitz? Oh, is he left? Okay. Danielle Brecker? Carlos Castle-Crowe?
Yes.
Evelyn Shango was absent. Lisa Charles absent. Tanya Chavez? Yes. And Osman Chowdhury absent. Stephen Cooper? Yes. Warren Davis is excused. Lisa Deller? Yes. Maury Gallinoy? Is absent. Okay, and I, yeah. Alexandra Gonzalez is she here? No? Yeah. Yes. Okay, yeah. Camille Gray? Yes. Yes. Kenneth Greenberg?
Yes.
Yes. Corey Hannigan? Mohammed Hassan is absent. Christine Hunter? James Kim absent again. And Permeet is excused. Chamang is absent. Bradford leaving. So yes. Sheila Lewandowski. Well, you have to say yes. Well, thank you. Benjamin Lucas. Patrick Martin. Eric Narberg. Andy Olivares was Zoom absent. Riley. Jolie Patel.
Yes.
Yes. Randy Plemmel.
Yes.
Thank you. Pia Raman. Maya Saab. Maya, are you here? Not here, okay. Norberto is absent. Alyssa Sawicki was absent, right? Fulgerson, what? Oh, online? Alyssa, are you here? What's your vote?
Is that me or Lisa?
Who's? Wait. Okay, Fulgen, Sherpa, are you yes or no?
Yes.
Good, okay, and Alyssa is not, okay, not here. Ryan Smith is excused. Lauren Springer? That was a yes? Thank you. Kello Thomas is not returned, so now we're gonna be, he's, Maurus
Yes.
Valdez, are you?
Yes.
Yes. Alana? Yes. Leticia? You got to say it. Yes, thank you. And Michael Zorab? Yes. Okay, I think we have one no and no abstentions, and you can count them up. I'm sure you've already done that, but thank you all for your vote. Questions it. Now, if you are. You do? You really want us to roll with it?
We have 50% plus one.
Technically, it's not questions, it's
Oh, sorry, a challenge. Well,
Yeah.
I
No,
really want a challenge.
no, we're good per open meetings law. Riley? Oh, sorry, that was it, right, for land use, this vote? Yes, that too, yeah, sorry, not yet. Stevie, can you hand the mic back to? Yeah. Yeah, while we tally up the vote, if you want to.
So do you want to tell us the result of the vote, or? Okay, all right.
So.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
How many in favor?
Oh, how many in favor?
In favor?
27 in favor. And one nay.
27 in favor, 1 no.
Okay.
1 opposed, no abstentions. That's your official, that's your vote. And that's with Nick Weaving and
Yep.
somebody else's.
So it passes. Thank you so much.
All right. So
Lisa, yeah.
additionally, I think our
Christine.
new procedure, this is sort of at the request of city planning, is that at the full board meetings, unless there are city planning items at the meeting, the land use committee will simply report out what they gave us at the land use meeting. So 2 items. One is that at the next, the Newtown Creek Combined Sewer Overflow Tunnel, which is actually a huge project, has been certified and is now in the ULURP process, and we will be reviewing that and voting on it the next board meeting. And I'm not sure how they're going to, I would think there would be some public interest in that, so I'm not sure how people are going to be notified. So just a thought.
We should newsletter. I mean, we don't typically put like specific things we vote on in the newsletter, but I think this one's, the footprint is pretty big, so.
Yes. Yeah, it affects a lot of properties and
Yeah.
a lot of areas. The second item is that the draft industrial plan was released in September. City planning is now conducting public town halls in every borough, and the Queens Town Hall is at the CUNY Law School on October 23rd, 2025, and at 6:30, and will include an info session about the plan. Okay, that's it.
I have a question. Are they saying they're just not coming to community board anymore unless there's an item on our agenda?
DCP's right there.
Hi. No, basically, we're going to continue coming to land use committee meetings because that's a lot of what DCP borough planners do. If there isn't something that's up for vote for the full board and there's not really much for us to on, we will not be on the full board agenda, but we will continue attending every single land use committee meeting. Yeah. It's a lot of other community boards typically don't have borough planners come to the full board meeting. They just come to the land use committee meeting. CB2, we've been coming to CB2 meetings because a lot of stuff has been going on in this district and the LIC.
You've been coming to CB2 meetings for 35 years.
We will
and
continue coming.
You are always on the agenda. There's always a report by city planning at this community board. For you to not be at this community board to report out is a big change, period.
Yeah, but it's one that, we agreed to. So, me and the land use chairs will take that. That's,
And I just want to clarify, we will continue coming to every single full board meeting. At least one person from the Department of City Planning will always be here. Just not always giving a update.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, if nothing else. Riley? Yeah, a literal mic drop.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. We had our Transportation Committee meeting 2 days ago on Tuesday. DOT was not able to attend, but they sent us some updates that the Review Avenue, part of what we call the Blissville Greenway, has been completed with maybe just a couple little small things left to go. I got to ride it. It's really good. It's really nice. It goes through an industrial part of our district, but it just feels so safe and comfortable. It was also my first opportunity to go to Maspeth Park, the new skate park that we on this board advocated for a lot, and that was awesome. I didn't bring my skateboard, but it was really nice. DOT also celebrated the completion of the 29th Street Plaza at LaGuardia Community College. Let's go visit that. And that is that. They commented that the markings on the Queensboro Bridge have not been completed yet in the bike lane, but they are waiting for the construction of the crosswalk at the base of the bridge to be complete, and then that team will continue and hopefully remark the bike lane so that it is showing the actual law, which is that pedestrians are not allowed on that lane and that it is a two-way bike lane. We continue to express to DOT that they have taken far too long for that to happen, and if it were an automobile lane, it would have happened a lot sooner. We had plenty of time to discuss many things. One of them was former committee chair Tom Matusas had brought to us the Dutch Kills tributary, a park in Blissville that has been created by residents of Blissville, but not by the city. He is advocating with the Blissville Civic Association for that to become a city park. We discussed that would be a great idea, and we all agreed. So we'll send that along to our council member, and we encourage you to look at it. I have some notes here. There are some trials coming and tribulations coming to us. This weekend, starting tomorrow, the G train is not coming to Court Square. For the entire weekend, there's no G between Bedford, Nostrand Avenues, and Court Square. Yeah, that is October 10th to 15th. And then, maybe affecting more people, the 7 train next week will not run next weekend. So 17th, starting at 11:30 p.m. until Monday, October 20th at 3:30 a.m. 7 will not run between Flushing Main Street, or sorry, the 7 will run between Flushing Street and 74th Street
but that's the last stop. So, free shuttle buses run along 3 routes. The Q93 between Queensboro Plaza and Vernon Boulevard, Jackson Avenue. The Q92 overnight in Manhattan between Times Square and 34th Street Hudson. And the Q107 between 74th Street Broadway and Queensboro Plaza, making local 7 stops. Long Island Railroad will accommodate subway riders traveling between Queens and Manhattan for no additional cost at Woodside, Flushing, Metz Willis Point, Grand Central Madison, and Penn Station. I don't know why.
To be a very large the No King's Day demonstration or rally march in Manhattan. It's going to be really problematic to not have the 7 train running for that, I believe.
Yeah, it's, I take full responsibility.
No, I didn't mean that.
No, I know.
People
yeah.
should be advised and figure out what they're going to do.
Yes, so take the Long Island Railroad for travel between Queens and Manhattan, take the E, F, or R trains is what they say. I know that's not easy, and I know it's a headache, and the 7 train continues to be worked on so that someday it will be perfect. Take the Blissville Greenway.
I usually wouldn't do this here and now, but it's important enough. Can I ask the Transportation Committee, please get an update from DOT or, oh no, it might be MTA. The 61st Street escalator was supposed to be completed in Q2 of this year. We're now in Q4, and it's a big issue with regards to accessibility and making life easier for folks, period. And there's been no update. So 61st Street escalator, pretty big deal at the station. There you go.
Okay, thank you. They had an accessibility webinar. I don't know if they mentioned the escalator there. They were very proud of the elevators at Queensboro Plaza. But we'll follow up. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Patrick. Another note, you may have heard the F&M trains will swap in our district. I mentioned that, I think, maybe at the last meeting. It starts on December 8th. Hello? Thank you. The F and M trains will swap lines. So some F stops will become M stops, and some M stops will become F stops, because in our district, they cross, and sometimes trains have to wait for each other. And they found when they were doing some recent work, and I think Camille had pointed this out, that everything was running much better when they did this swap to do the work, so they're just going to do it permanently. I have some information that the old F stops, 21st Street, Queensbridge, Roosevelt Island, Lexington Avenue, 63rd Street, and 57th Street, 6th Avenue are now, are now M stops. They put this in a weird place. They will be on December 8th. And then the reverse. Do you have a question, Ben? And just to talk about the FM swap, a lot of times things happen and we groan. The MTA says that it's all in all a good thing, like I said, and it will affect 2% of riders who might have a 1 to 4 minute longer wait. Okay, the Greenpoint Bridge was the request for the additional protection on the bike lane. And then just one more thing, Borden Avenue Bridge, lots of bridges. The Borden Avenue Bridge is closed this month. There is work being done there, so you will be redirected on a detour to Hunters Point Avenue if you're driving on that. That goes until October 31st. Yes, I do. Oh, yeah, one other, we did have a presentation from LaGuardia Community College at our meeting on Tuesday, where they talked about renaming 33rd Street stop on the 7 train to 33rd Street LaGuardia Community College, rather than 33rd Street Rawson. We had a discussion. My main question was, who is Rawson, and shall we erase him? He seemed to have been a business owner that the street was named after, but not much else exists on him. So the committee agreed that it would be a good change. And I think that goes to the assembly member who is there. That's it. Oh, yes, Letitia. I think you have 2 mics. Oh.
All right, so I kind of already told Julie Wan's office about this, but I think I should probably bring it up to you guys. So you know, on 46th Street, they have those gate thingies because they're doing construction there, right?
What is?
It's the fences. Yes. So, sure, yeah, the construction barricades. And so people love to jaywalk, right? And it's obstructing the view. I've already seen people almost get run over this week, like twice already. And there's kids that always cross that intersection when they're going north or south of Queens Boulevard.
So this is at Queens Boulevard, the 46th Street MTA elevator project.
Yes, and so they have like this green thing covering that blocks the view of, so even if you like step a little bit, the cars will zoom by and, you know, and that's it, you know, and you get run over. So is there a way where they can maybe lower it a little bit or something? Just so that when people want to jaywalk, that they at least can see the cars coming. Yeah, and I've already told them about it, but I still see it. And this week I saw almost people get run over, so yeah.
Sure, yeah, I'll take a look and I'll put it on the agenda. See if it's an MTA or DOT thing that can be fixed. Thank you. Cool, thank you. Where's this guy?
All right, if we can do the rest of the meetings in minutes each, that is 18 minutes and we are out of here. So, Carisha.
Okay, hi. So in September, we had Father Carl Adair, who runs the Episcopal Mission in Sunnyside, as well as the 2 Filipino resident artists that have set up a print studio in inside of the missions building, come and talk to us about the work that they're doing, and the rotating gallery, the little window gallery at the front of the building. If you guys want to go, it's really cool. They've been curating a lot of local artists. And then we also had, who else did we have, Eric? That's right. We had the LaGuardia Performing Arts Center, speaking of the opening. There's a new executive director there, but we may all already be familiar with Andrew Ronan because he also used to be part of the programming department at DOT. So he is now the new executive director, doing a lot of programming at LPAC, as well as lots of programming plans for the 29th Street Plaza. And yeah, we have this coming Tuesday. Actually, Chocolate Factory is going to be presenting. Oh, where she'll go? Okay. So Chocolate Factory will be there telling us about their upcoming plans and programming, well as the artist of the 29th Street mural, who is an Ecuadorian artist and student at LaGuardia. Her name is Fernanda Contreras, and yeah. please come. There'll also be some When LIC Arts and Culture updates, so please come.
Okay, this will be quick. So the city services meeting was actually last night. Two things of note. We did approve a cannabis shop and cultivation, which means it will be indoor farming, basically, of cannabis when it's ready. So it's kind of cool. It's the first one for us in this district. But the actual more urgent thing is that we had the owner and the partner Sky Bar in Long Island City, which some of you may remember, made a lot of noise until all hours of the day and night through much of the early part of this year into July, when finally the 108 and the SLA or some government agency kind of got them to take their speakers that were outside down to make sure they were closing at the right time, just to get better. So it has gotten better. However, we still wanted them to come and talk to us because it was a very long process to get there. So they came, and they did tell us that they have a new manager who we ask for them to come back to the meeting next month and bring. And we also, what we are asking is, if you know about this, or you have neighbors who know about it, or you talk to your neighbors, please let them know that our next meeting is November 12th at 6:30, and that the owners and the new manager of Sky Bar will be there. And if they have any concerns or complaints or want to hear from them or ask them questions, they should come to the city services meeting to do that. I don't know what we're going to do, but I think what we want to do is make sure we're holding them to account so that that noise situation does not happen again. But we really do want to hear from this new manager that they have and what she is going to. So again, the next city services meeting is November 12th at 6:30. It's a Wednesday night at the board office. Thank you.
So at our September 8th meeting, we had Sabrina Snyder, who's the executive director of the Long Island City YMCA, come and speak. She talked about her programs and services that include pre-K, 3K, summer camp, a caregiver support program. But I think the best way to find out about their program and services is actually stop by. So they're located at 32nd Street and Queens Boulevard. There was a PowerPoint, which we can get from the board office, that describes their services. Our next meeting is not a holiday, so we'll be meeting next on October 20th. Okay. And we'll have speakers from the New York City Department of Social Services, specifically Deputy Commissioner Jamar Hooks, and then also Samuel Clark, who's the Borough Director for Queens and Staten Island. And then we also have Maggie Gavin, who is the CEO of Soul Hug Movement. So should be good. Invite you to come. It's virtual, 6 p.m., October 20th.
And that's an important one too, so if, please try to make that next.
Yeah, we'll hear district updates, so that's the thing that we get from DSS.
Great. Carlos, Environment, Parks and Rec Committee?
Yeah, I can be quick because Riley stole some of my updates, rightfully so. So we had 3 presentations. One was Tom and Warren's about the park, which we wholeheartedly support MI committee, and we're excited to help them try to advocate for the park in Blissville. We also had presentations from 2 different companies who are doing battery storage projects in our district. One was Nexamp, and another one's called Soltage, I believe. And there was one project in Blissville and another one in, I guess that's called Maspeth. It's kind of like south sunny side, around like in the 40s. And I think they're going to be great projects. Both teams were either interested or already committed to planting more trees in the area as part of the projects. The battery storage is important for the state and cities like climate and energy storage goals. And also, I think most of them were placed on like Superfund sites that they're going to help clean up too. So all around great projects that we're going to be supporting. And our next meeting is on October 23rd. I think that's it.
Awesome, thank you. Next, last but not least, because Maury's not here, Tanya, behind you.
Is it on? So 2 weeks ago, we had a great time tabling in Woodside Fall Festival. Great music, great food, but what got our attention most was that this time we had a younger crowd coming to our table, let's say from like 7 to 13, wanting to know more about CB2. And that's it, no more updates, and we'll see you on October 28th at 6 p.m. Oh, yes, and we're looking for volunteers to help us table the Sunny Sides event on October, the Filipino Festival. So if you have any availability, it's going to be from 5 to 7? 6 to 8. 6 to 8. And just to give basic information about what CB2 does and to give us some swag. That's it. Thank you.
In Woodside on the Move also, there may be an opportunity to table there on the 24th, but so we'll figure that out. All right, motion to adjourn. Second, all right. Have a good night. Yeah, and what LIC is going to be voted on at the end of the month.